Hey there, and happy Friday. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We have made it through the week successfully, and we're going to get you all caught up with what happened this week and what you can look forward to this weekend. I'm Eric Perry. Of course, we want you to join us in on this conversation. Here's Alex Whitler. I'm going to give her the credit for coining that phrase. Social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching, we appreciate it, and we'll get you caught up and ask any or answer any of the questions that you might have. We want to start you off with a sad story. This is out of South Fulton. You're taking a look at 17-year-old Jeremiah Gibson. It was as he was younger there. Unfortunately, family members say that he was found shot in the woods there. This happened on Valentine's Day, and unfortunately, we talked with his mother, who says that the Tucker High School junior was just visiting family on Valentine's Day and never made it back home. Police are still searching for whoever might have any information on his whereabouts, or what might have happened that led up to that shooting. They say that he had a gunshot wound and was found near Marsham Drive there in South Fulton. His mom talking with our Christopher King yesterday, saying that she was simply arranging flowers for the Valentine's Day holiday when she got the news that her 17-year-old baby would not be coming home there. She says that she will not rest until she finds the truth. Unfortunately, hopefully somebody out there will know some sort of information that can lead to some sort of answers. Nothing will fully give her healing or closure here. She says, quote, "I still don't believe it. Closure. I don't want to move on. I just want to tell his story. I just want answers. I just want to know the truth there." So hopefully someone out there will give this family, this grieving mother, some sort of answers as South Fulton police work to learn what led up to that incident. Other big story here, former Congresswoman Margie Taylor Greene, who was a staunch Trump supporter, President Donald Trump. She was a huge supporter. Well, now she is calling for him to be impeached. This is really about face of what we have grown to know her and her loyalty to the president there. She's joining different Democrats who came out to say that the president should no longer serve in the White House and should be removed either through the impeachment process or through the 25th Amendment. Now, that 25th Amendment, the latter option, allows that the vice president and the cabinet to declare that a president is no longer able to perform the job. In a recent interview that she did, she took issue with several of the president's recent statements. She says that his threat to wipe out a whole civilization in Iran was the most appalling to her in recent time. Now, remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from her position in Congress. Clay Fuller just won a runoff election last week against Sean Harris. Very close race, really turning of the tide there, and what was known usually as a shoo-in for a Republican Party. But we saw a tight race there between the two of them. Clay Fuller, who is a Republican, did clinch that election there, but many Democrats saying it is a victory for them because just how close and tight-knit that race is. Well, speaking of the Republican Party, they're coming up to the UGA campus. Some controversy. People are divided there. You're taking a look at Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, the Vice President, and Erica Kurt, who is a widow of Charlie Kirk, they will be bringing the Turning Point USA to the U.S. University of Georgia. So this news really causing some mixed reaction from students before the visit. The publication there, the young journalists there on the ground, it's for the Red and Black publication there. They talked with a number of students about this. Some of them say they're welcoming this visit to come in, saying that it'll be good to hear from such influential voices. Then you have people on the other side. They're concerned that the event could create a divide there on campus. So we know that tour stop is set for UGA on Tuesday. And of course, Fox 5 will be there to bring you the coverage of that. Those are just some of the stories that we have been working on, not even the bigger stories here closer to home. Cal Calloway is going to fill us in on just some of what the reporters are working on. And Cal, I know you're probably starting with the major fire that happened in Clayton County. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. This has been breaking news. We actually brought you as a live report during Fox Local at 11 o'clock this morning. You're seeing the images from Clayton County, an apartment fire that happened near Riverdale this morning. 36 people displaced because of this fire. One of those victims had to be transported to the hospital. We don't know the cause of the fire yet. Firefighters have been on the scene for several hours. As you can see from those images, building was destroyed in that. Ray Lorena is on the scene. We'll have a live report from him this afternoon. Throughout the week, we've been telling you the story that the tragedy that happened in Northwest Florida last weekend. This was the deaths of 3 students who attended a private school in Cumming, that's Horizon Christian Academy. Today, we're going to talk to the friends of one of those victims. The victim we're profiling today is Charlotte Martin, one of her friends, and you can see the image, by the way. She was on the left there just a moment ago. We're talking to one of her friends about Charlotte. She describes Charlotte as a ray of sunshine, always smiling, always friendly. So we'll be talking to her. That is Tara Jabor. We'll have that story for us this afternoon. And also throughout this week, we've been watching the concerns about the rise in teen violence here in the city of Atlanta. One of the most publicized incidents happened last weekend. That was at Piedmont Park, where a teenager was shot to death. Another teen was wounded in that situation. Of course, today, Piedmont Park reopens with a start about an hour ago of the 90th annual Dogwood Festival. Atlanta Police have committed to have more officers at the park to assure people that they will be safe if they attend the Dogwood Festival. Deidre Dukes will be at the park this afternoon. And finally, on a lighter note, we showed you this yesterday, some images, and now we actually can show you in person. This weekend, our first place Atlanta Braves return to Truist Park, and the city will be unveiling on the field their new City Connect uniforms for this season. This is the cap that the ball players will be wearing this weekend, and here's one of the jerseys. And for you longtime Atlanta fans like me, you'll see it's a lighter blue color. You'll remember that in the early 80s when Dale Murphy was the star player for the Braves. That was the color when the team hit the road. So I have a sneaking suspicion that the Braves clubhouse store will be busy with people trying to buy some of these caps this weekend. So great weather for it. Erica, look forward to seeing a lot of Braves fans out there this weekend.
Yeah, Cal, I'm going to give you a warning. Don't leave that cap around. I kind of want that hat. It's pretty nice looking out there. And, of course, the Braves off to a pretty good start so far. So your thoughts going into this next season, you think they can pull it off better than last season?
Well, remember last season, they started the season 0-7, didn't win a game on their first road trip. Right now, they're 8-5, and they're in first place in their division. So already the season looks much better than last year. Should be a fun spring and summer at Truist Park.
All right, Cal Calloway, thanks so much. Have a good weekend. Thanks for joining us here. All right, as Cal mentioned, it is going to be a beautiful weekend. There's so much to get into. Our Joyce will get into a little bit more about what you can do across this weekend, so many different events. But first, let's get out to Jonathan Stacy tracking the forecast, and I think you're going to like it.
Well, we're about to turn abnormally warm for the month of April. The first 4 days of the month featured heat in the 80-plus degree category. April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, and April 4th. Temperatures all above 80 degrees. However, we started out this week with temperatures that were right on the money for this time of the year. The average high temperature for Easter Sunday, 71. The average high continues to rise. Now we're in the 72 to 73 degree range. And look at this. We've been kind of playing with the average number. Below average on Monday, and then above average for Tuesday, and then below average for Wednesday, right on the money for Thursday. But let's bring out the red paint here, because we're about to fill these boxes up here as the temperatures are about to go on a prolonged heat streak, and it begins today. Above average, 79 degrees here in Atlanta. The average high for this time of the year, the 10th day or the 100th day of the year, that is 73 degrees. 73 is going to be a pass-by temperature. In fact, all communities, even into the mountains, will roll past the low 70s into the mid-70s. 76 degrees there in Blairsville. Come down south and you're going to find temperatures getting really close to the 80-degree mark. If you don't hit it today, you have another really good opportunity tomorrow, and that opportunity continues into the week to come. Well, it'll be kind of crisp tomorrow morning when you wake up, but a really nice start to the weekend. Temperatures on either side of 50 degrees when you kick off your weekend morning. Saturday specifically, 53 here in Atlanta, 47 Cartersville, 47 Dalton, 48 over there in Tallapoosa. Go out east to the lakes, you'll find temperatures in the high 40s as well. Not a bad start to the weekend at all. And there's not a bad middle and there's not a bad end. In fact, sunshine is going to be our friend. An area of high pressure will rest smack dab over the southeastern United States, and it's going to cancel a cloud cover, and it most definitely will keep out any wet weather. Look at all the wet weather. It's out west. It's up to the north. It cannot break entry as long as high pressure abides over our area. That's the story tomorrow. Let's fast forward the clock into Sunday, and that's the same story on Sunday. By Monday, this shield of clouds is going to try to advance to the east, but it doesn't bring us anything. We're going to keep the rain-free streak going. You can see those clouds rolling in as you head back to work and school on Monday. Let's not talk about that, but at least you'll be going back with dry conditions, and we'll call it maybe partly cloudy. For the weekend, especially tomorrow, sunshine is all yours, starting out in the 50s, those highs boosting to the 80s, 86 degrees for Saturday. We may knock off a degree for Sunday, but it's tomato, who cares? This is very summer-like. It's like late May going into early June when we find temperatures this warm. However, this is the way we're going to go through the second full weekend of April. In terms of the week to come, this is what you have. Not a good opportunity for rain at any point in time. Maybe we'll sneak in an isolated shower or two as we get into next week, the latter part of the week, specifically looking at Friday, as basically you have so much warmth along with a little bit of humidity eking in. Maybe we could get an isolated thunder shower, but you can see here I'm really trying to thread the needle. There's not a good opportunity for rain in the near future. You can see it here. There's plenty of sunshine though, and there is an abundance of warmth. These temperatures are off the chain. Look at these near 90-degree temperatures. The heat will be building next week. However, the humidity is likely going to stay in the pocket. We're going to keep it comfortable, but we're going to bring out the sun, and the sun is going to do its job.
All right, Jonathan, thanks so much. I was so excited. There was a wine festival this weekend that we were going to go to, but unfortunately they canceled it. It was going to be beautiful weather to get outside and just enjoy some of the suns. Hey, we've been looking at some of the comments that you guys have said. Many of you like those jerseys with the Atlanta Braves. Somebody said that if they were red, they will order about 100 of them, but I like the blue. I think they're pretty cool. Thanks to all of you guys for joining us on social media. We're looking at your comments, and we welcome you into the conversation there. When we come back, we'll talk with someone about Black Maternal Health Week that's coming up. Also, we'll take a look. The Artemis II is expected to splash down this evening. We're going to have live coverage for you here on Fox Local later on tonight, but we'll give you a live look from space as it gets closer to home. You're watching Fox Local at the 1 o'clock hour. We'll be right back. Welcome back on this Friday. So good to have you with us on this news conversation here for Fox Local at the 1 p.m. hour. We want to have a real conversation as Black Maternal Health Week is from April 11th through the 15th, and the Morehouse School of Medicine is making sure they're getting knowledge out for those who really need it the most. I want to welcome in Dr. Natalie Hernandez-Green, who is the executive director there. First of all, thanks so much for joining us for this conversation. Talk with us a little bit, starting out, why is this so important to the community?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me here. So why is Black Maternal Health Week critical? I mean, the data is clear. We still know that Black women are still 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes. But behind every statistic is a story, is a family, is a community. And Black Maternal Health Week creates a national platform that allows us to elevate those stories, hold systems accountable, and accelerate solution. It's an opportunity for us as a community to come together, health systems, community organizations, policymakers, and families to move it from awareness of this data to real action that can happen in our communities.
You know, it's hard to hear when we hear about the racial disparity, but I saw a statistic that was so interesting to me, was saying that the disparity exists regardless of the income, regardless of your education. Talk about that and the importance of finding a doctor and finding a healthcare provider that will listen to the concerns that you might have.
Absolutely. Yes. There's nothing really protects Black women from dying for pregnancy-related causes. In fact, Black women who are college educated still have worse outcomes than white women who drop out of high school. And so we know that this isn't just a chronic disease problem. We know that this is a systems failure problem. Over and over again, we've interviewed women from across the country and here in Georgia, and over again, we heard from women and people that they felt like they weren't being listened to, that their concerns weren't being heard, that they weren't being treated with dignity and the respect that they deserve when they're about to embark on one of the most critical and important parts of their life, right? Giving life to another human being and creating a just society for our communities. And so it's really important that, you know, when you go seek a provider, a healthcare provider, a physician, a nurse, midwife, whatever it is, that they have the same values that you have, that they have a record. There are many opportunities to look up people, particularly to see how they treated other people. There's the Earth app, IRATH. You remove the B from birth for Earth. It's almost like a review on different providers that treat people with respect. The same way we care about our hair, our nails, whatever it is, the same research that we do for that stuff that's important to us is the same type of research we need to do when we're seeking providers. And I wouldn't be remiss if I mentioned Morehouse Medicine being that, because we have seen when the provider or the physician looks like the patient, you tend to see better outcomes for people.
Yeah, that is so important. And while you were talking, we've been showing some images of Morehouse School of Medicine, but also some of the events that you guys have had over the past couple of years. Talk about this. This is from the 11th through the 15th. What are some of the things that the Morehouse School of Medicine, you guys are providing? And we've also have that QR code. So if you're looking at this, you can scan that and you can look at that full schedule of events as well from your mobile devices.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really excited to bring about multiple events from here. One of them that we're really excited about is our Mama Stories that will be held on Sunday. There's information at Spelman College at the Giles Center. And this is where we took our research. We had interviewed women who nearly died from pregnancy-related complications and turned those interviews into choreo poems. This was conducted by Morehouse School of Medicine and in partnership with Meharry Medical College out of Nashville, Tennessee, and their program director, Cynthia Harris, and Actors Bridge Ensemble. We turned those stories into choreo poems. This was a way, this year's theme is rooted in justice and joy. And yes, you know, women nearly dying from pregnancy complications, you may think, oh, that's not joy. But when you take the arts and you transform research into the art, you create something that's really healing for our communities. And so we're hoping that through these mama stories, that research doesn't just sit in the ivory tower, that you all as community members can hear what women went through, hear the fear, hear the joy that's rooted in these stories. And we're excited to bring that to you. Tomorrow, there are two different events that Morehouse School of Medicine is supporting. One is a block party hosted by For Cure for Moms. Some of you may have heard of Charles Johnson. He lost his wife to a maternal death. And there, a lot of the focus would be on screenings, different events. I think there's a performance by Melanie Fiona, who would be singing. And we're really excited to support that. We'll actually be hosting a yoga hour for that event. And then simultaneously in Candler Park, there will be an event hosted by Black Mamas Matters Alliance. They were actually the originators of Black Maternal Health Week. And they'll also have a walk starting in Candler Park, and resources and community organizations that would be featuring the work that they're doing. Then on Monday, we'll be hosting a series of events focused on workforce development. And so this is for our AUC or any students that are interested in attending. You'll have an opportunity to network with people in the maternal health field, organizations that provide resources. And then on Wednesday is Morehouse School of Medicine Center for Maternal Health Equity's Time to Shine. And again, we don't want our research just to sit in academic journals. This is an opportunity for you all to hear what we're doing at Morehouse School of Medicine, how we take the recommendations of the Maternal Mortality Review Committee and turn them into actionable steps. We've been able to develop perinatal patient navigator programs that are being implemented at Grady and other clinical sites in Atlanta and in Albany, Georgia. We address pregnancy before people even get pregnant, called preconception health, and that program's being implemented across multiple states in the Southeast. You'll hear about how even the workforce that we depend on is also going through it, and how do we take care of those people who provide the necessary resources and the support that mamas need during birth and in the postpartum period. And so we're excited about this week. We're excited about the opportunities that exist, because if we're serious about improving maternal health in this country, we have to center the community. We must center Black women, not just in the data, but in the solutions. And at the Center for Maternal Health Equity, we are building a future where justice is the standard and joy is the outcome.
All right, Dr. Natalie Hernandez-Green, thanks so much for joining us. And it's good to see people like you, people of color, women of color in this field, giving back and raising awareness as well. Once again, we're showing the flyer here for the Black Maternal Health Week, Rooted in Justice and Joy, April 11th through the 17th. And you can scan that QR code right there to view that full schedule of events. Thanks for joining us here. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Of course, absolutely. And we'll have that interview for if you want to rewatch it or tell a friend. We'll have it on our website, fox5atlanta.com. All right, we want to take a turn now and take you outside. It's a beautiful weekend, as you heard from Jonathan Stacy. There's so much happening this weekend. One of the things that's taking place is something that, if you lived in Atlanta for any of the past couple of years, or maybe the last 90 years, the Dogwood Festival is set to begin today. That's where our Chris Rosenthal is. And Chris, I was out there yesterday with the pastors talking about, stepping up, and I just saw a lot of security out there. And I know that's one of the things that they're focused on to make sure everyone is safe. But there's also a change this year because it's not for free. You have to pay just a small little piece of change to get into the Dogwood Festival, but it is worth it. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the cost to put on this festival has gone up, and so they do have to charge. It's a pretty small fee, about $5 today for adults, and then $10 on Saturday or Sunday. You can buy those tickets online. You can buy them here. Again, security. Atlanta Police have said that they're going to have more security here in the park, and officers in the park and outside to help control traffic. I spoke with Brian Hill. He's the executive director of of the Dogwood Festival. He said this is going to be one of the safest places to be in the city. There will also be their own security in the park, and security is something you won't notice, some undercover. So saying that, you know, it's going to be a safe event. Like you said, the weather beautiful today, and it will be beautiful all weekend. We're expecting it to be. So you can come here, lots of art, lots of exhibits, music, performances, food, a little bit of everything for everyone. One of the really cool exhibits that I've been checking out this morning is the Atlanta High School Art Exhibition. And I'm here with Becky. She is with the exhibition here. And first of all, tell me a little bit about this here.
Well, I've been the director of this show for 10 years. The lady before me, 19 years. So it's been around almost 30 years. And we are very excited. We're 800 entries this year, which is a lot of entries. A teacher could enter 8 works out of all of her students, pick the top 8 and enter. And so you're looking at this show, it's about 190 works, and we're really excited. This, for instance, is first place drawing right here. And so we have categories: drawing, painting, mixed media, sculpture, like that. And we do it first, second, and third place in each category.
Wow, well, a lot of beautiful art here. So and it's just one of the many exhibits that you can come check out here at the Dogwood Festival, 90th Annual Dogwood Festival, coming up this weekend.
Beautiful drawing over here.
All right, sorry about that. I was looking at some breaking news. Chris, talk a little bit about some of the other things and some of the setup that we've been able to see this weekend. We're taking some video of some previous things as well. I know there's a lot of music that is out there. What can people expect this year, and what are you seeing out there that has kind of piqued your interest since you've been out there today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this art exhibit, this high school art exhibit, was one of the many things that I've seen here that's really really beautiful, really spectacular. You know, they're also going to have you know, lots of music, lots of international music, and then one of the things I think sounds really cool that they're going to have is an event where artists will take an IKEA chair kit, and they'll do a hack with that, and they'll basically have to build something with it that's not an IKEA chair, and that'll be, you know, kind of a way to combine art and competition, and people can come check that out, and just some really cool events. And it goes on till 9 o'clock today. Just started at noon, and then 9 o'clock on Saturday, and then finishes at 6 on Sunday.
There could not be more perfect. Chris Rosenthal out there giving us a preview of the 90th Dogwood Festival, which has officially started. It kicked off at noon today. All right, as we mentioned, I was paying attention to some breaking news that we've been following out of South Fulton. This is a live look from up above. This is the Zaxby's restaurant, where we know there was a shooting that took place outside of the Zaxby's restaurant. It's in the 5300 block of Campbellton Road there on Campbellton Fairburn Road. Here's what we know. Police in South Fulton confirmed that victim was shot outside in the parking lot. You can see what looks like police tape maybe in the back of that. These are South Fulton police cars that are working the scene, and you can see the officers out there in front. We know that they found the victim nearby outside the La Fiesta restaurant a short time later. I'm assuming that maybe they ran for help at some point. That Zaxby's looks to be a standalone restaurant, so we'll work to figure out just how far that La Fiesta is. We know medics were able to rush that victim to Grady Memorial Hospital, we're told, in critical condition. And again, you can see investigators and crime scene. Looks like they might be taking down that tape. Again, this is a live image and a live look for you, as they might be taking down that tape in the back of that restaurant, as they might be wrapping up the preliminary reports and preliminary investigation here at the Zaxby's. But again, if you're just now joining us, person shot in South Fulton at the Zaxby's, a very popular scene there, and a very popular road of Campbellton Fairburn Road. A live look for you. Of course, we'll stay on top of this story throughout this newscast. We'll be right back. Welcome back. During this 1 p.m. hour, we are approaching the halfway mark here as we work our way through to several different stories. Again, we'll continue to follow that story out of South Fulton after someone was shot at a Zaxby's parking lot. Some other stories that we are working on, a big one that many of you at home are talking about: 78 people arrested in a huge sting. This happened in Clayton County there as they, this is some amazing images that we've seen as guns and drugs have been seized. What they're calling a crackdown here. We know that the U.S. Marshals worked and carried out this huge 3-week effort from March 16th through April 3rd, resulting in 78 arrests, dozens of violent offenders, they say, for violent crimes such as murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault. Authorities also say that they took away illegal firearms, 46 guns taken off the streets, and 57 pounds of drugs, resulting in about $18,000 in cash in this operation as well. We were talking with the different people. I know Monday they're going to provide a sit-down interview and give a little bit more insight into this big sting of around 3 weeks again that it took place. But 78 people arrested, guns, drugs, all removed from the streets in Clayton County, a major win for the U.S. Marshals, but also, of course, the Clayton County Police as well. We're talking from that to what's going to impact your wallets and your pocketbooks. We're talking about property taxes, and a new report says that many of it rose last year for a lot of the homeowners. It increased. Well, a report says a real estate data provider says that single-family homeowners paid more in property taxes in the year of 2025 there. That is, of course, in comparison to 2024. The report also found that property taxes were up 3.7% on homes across the country. According to the report, Americans paid almost $400 billion in property taxes on about 89.6 million homes there, and property taxes usually are charged by local governments and fund services such as police, fire, public schools, trash collections, and roads. Of course, you know, we've seen prices for a lot of different things rising, and this is one of those things where if you own a home, everything counts, you know, a lot of the money that people are seeing. So that is going to have a big impact. It'll be interesting to see if that will rise again next year. This time next year, we'll probably get that report on the 2026, and it will compare to the 2025. Speaking of things going up, let's talk about the mail. USPS, they are still having difficulties, financial difficulties that we have seen there. We know that the price of stamps already went from 78 cents. Well, now they're saying that it might go up again to 82 cents. So the price of stamps going up, the change would take effect July the 12th. Domestic and international postcards are also set to increase 4 and 5 cents respectively. Meanwhile, the post office says that it is suspending its employee pension contributions, and that is starting immediately. So they're having a lot of issues. I know the other week when we were together, I believe it was either Thursday or Friday, I told you about how many of the Postmaster General there, the top man there, a part of that agency, described that they might run out of money as early as later this year or next year. So that's why they're trying to find new funding coming in. They're asking Congress for more money to help keep it afloat. That's why they're trying to raise the different prices. This comes as a lot of people are not using USPS as they have in recent years. And looking at my notes here, they said it could run out of money by next February of 2027. Well, before all of this will take impact, the Postal Regulatory Commission will have the final say in both of those proposals there. I just put a letter in the mail, but thankfully I was able to get a stamp from someone who had an extra one laying around there. All right, so much that you guys are talking about online. We want to bring in Joyce from our digital department. Joyce, I know we've been talking about things going up and up and up, and I think you have a story about baggage. If you're traveling anytime soon, things aren't looking too good when it comes to paying for that as well.
Yep, and I actually have some information that might just surprise you. So Tyler Finger, who is one of our reporters, and he also anchors the 1 p.m. sometimes, sent this information to me a couple of days ago, and I started to do like a deep dive into it. So basically, he sent me the latest financial report for Delta. So apparently the last quarter, Delta made a lot of money, like huge profit. And of course, the Delta CEO has been out there saying that they have to raise the baggage fees because of the rising jet fuel costs, which, I mean, we understand because we're all paying more for gasoline. What they're not telling people, though, is that not just Delta, but pretty much all the airlines made money last quarter and last year. The demand for travel has been like super strong over the last year. I mean, people have been flying all over the United States and around the world. So they haven't really had a problem selling tickets. But what's going on is they are afraid of what might happen later in the year. So like right now, according to Delta's financial report, they're still expecting to make a profit for the second quarter. It's just not going to be quite as big as it was the last quarter, but they are afraid that if things keep going the way that they are going and the price of jet fuel keeps going up, that they're going to get in trouble later in the year. So basically, Delta and all the other airlines are like raising their prices now, trying to get ahead of that. And like I said, Eric, I did like a super deep dive on this. So you can even go to our website and I have like broken it all down. I have like all the major airlines listed and how much they have raised their prices and, links to the different airlines and links to Delta's information.
Was doing a little digging as you were talking. So I remember the last Delta flight that I took, $35. So now the new check bag is $45. That second bag is $55. So it's $10 up, and a third bag is $200 there. So it is going up and up and up. All right, how about we talk about some chicken salad? I know a lot of people might have gotten it or they like chicken salad, getting it at the store. What have we learned about some of it that's been produced?
Right. So the Georgia Department of Agriculture sent us a press release this morning with some photos, which you can see on your screen. So it's about this chicken salad that was sold at an Ingalls in Blairsville. As far as we know, this is the only store that was sold at, but Blairsville's pretty popular and Ingalls is pretty popular, and chicken salad, everybody loves it. So I'm sure there's quite a few people who purchased it. So anyway, they are concerned that it might be contaminated with salmonella. So they're pretty much telling everybody, if you bought this chicken salad within a certain date, just throw it away. Just get rid of it and go get it, again.
All away. We've been talking all throughout this newscast, Joyce. I don't know if you've been listening, but it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Obviously, the Dogwood Festival is happening this weekend. What are some of the other things if you want to get outside, enjoy the weather? I'm kind of bummed. I was going to go to a wine festival that was tomorrow, and they ended up canceling it. And I think it would have been a perfect weekend for it to happen.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that. But hey, I've got a huge list on our website with lots of other options. And of course, obviously, there are a lot of things happening in Atlanta. Like you said, we've been talking about them all week. So there are other things, though, that are happening outside of Atlanta. For example, there's going to be an art festival in Ackworth this weekend. Tonight, there's the free Friday night live concert series over in Canton, and that's a lot of fun. The Strand in Marietta is hosting an AC/DC experience on Saturday night. And of course, I'm doing something really fun on Sunday. As you know, I have a Jeep. So there is going to be a benefit ride up in Fannin County. The sheriff's office is putting this on up here, and it's basically for their Shop with a Cop program. So you pay like $35, and then you go on this Jeep ride, and like all the proceeds are going to benefit the Shop with a Cop program so that they can buy, presents for kids later this year.
I have to ask because I've seen so many of the Jeeps. They used to all kind of gather across the street from me. Do you have the one where you can take the top off and really enjoy the sun? Are you going to let it all down? How does your Jeep look?
I do. I can take it off. It is kind of hard to do. I don't really have all the equipment. My brother has it. I don't know if I can talk him into it by tomorrow, but I could take it off.
All right, it's going to be a beautiful day to get out there. Again, Joyce has already put all of that on our website. If you want to go through, she's broken it down by events. So get out there, enjoy the sun, and of course, we want everyone to be safe. All right, Joyce, I hope you have a good time out there in your Jeep. All right, perfect. Well, we're going to move on here. A big thing that will happen later on today is Artemis 2 will splash down. It is expected to. I believe we have a live look for you as it's expected to splash down anywhere between 7:30 and 9 o'clock tonight there. We want to get you to a live look here. It is a big day for NASA back here. It's going to splash off the coast of California. This is considered one of the most dangerous legs of an already historic trip here. It's part of the NASA's Artemis program. The first one splashed down back in 2022, a successful one at that. Here's why we've been talking about this so much. It did a flyby around the moon there. It took humans further than we've seen. And again, it went out a little bit. It's going in and out. This is because this is a live look here that we've been able to see. So that's why you've seen some of the graphics. If you've seen it anytime, it's going in and out. This is the visualization that kind of shows a little bit about where it is and where it's traveling from. Here we know tonight our Tom Haynes will anchor what we're calling a splashdown coverage. That will start tonight at 7:30. He'll guide you through it. Of course, we are hoping that the 4 astronauts on board a safe return here on Earth. The landing method, here's what we're learning about that. They will deploy parachutes, as you've kind of seen maybe in movies or different television shows here, and the U.S. Navy ship will recover that capsule. And the crew, again, we are wishing and praying for a successful splashdown. And you can watch it right here on Fox Local tonight starting at 7:30. All right. So much food happening. Halle Berry says that she learned a valuable lesson while facing backlash for playing Ariel, or Halle Bailey at that. It's always a tongue twister for me, and The Little Mermaids. Well, many of the people here are talking with our Alex Whitler about some of the different things and different talking points here. We want to bring in Alex Whitler with the side dish with Tanner Thomason with more.
Offset is trying to recover from a shooting, but a casino is trying to recover some money from him. And Ryan Seacrest is looking for love, apparently. We've got some juicy topics today, so here to fill us in and to dish it all out is Tanner Thomason from Side Dish. Great to have you with us.
Alex, thank you so much. I am so excited to be back here talking to the good people of Atlanta following a giant shark monster truck.
Oh,
no big deal.
gosh.
We're doing great. We're doing great over here.
Well, the hat, it's almost giving trucker hat.
The hat, it is giving trucker hat. That's my side dish
it's
swag.
appropriate.
You guys know side dish turns from dish, buddy.
Yeah, we get it. We know the deal. So let's start with Offset, who's facing a lawsuit from this Detroit casino.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Offset has been making some news recently, and not good news. He hasn't been making good news recently. You might have heard that he got shot in one of his cheeks, so he is probably walking a little Offset right now. But the whole thing is this stems from evidently he owns the Motor City. There it is, the Motor City Casino, $100,000. He took out a line of credit. You know they'll let you do this. They'll let you take out a line of credit to gamble money that you might not even have. And so now he owes them $100 grand, and they're suing him to get that money. Well, on top of that, he owes Des Bryant, former NFL player and alumni of my college, Oklahoma State University, go Pokes. He owes Des Bryant like $8,000. He owes another guy like $5,000. And Cardi B famously has talked about how she couldn't get out of her divorce unless she paid another man's taxes. Now we understand
what she's talking about.
Offset has some financial issues coming up on him right now.
Yeah, and I just hate to hear that because he had so much success from the Migos. But I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that you guys are really quick with it. You said he got shot in the cheek and you might be walking Offset. I just had to repeat it in case anybody missed it because you're so quick with it.
You know, I try not to call attention to but yeah, Offset is like, you saw him there in the wheelchair having himself a little smoke on the outside. You know, Tay, they said, was a rapper who's there who was arrested for disorderly conduct.
Out on bond.
He's out on bond now. Well, now it seemed like at first people were like, well, what does Tay have to do with this? And it seems now that Tay might have according to police, might have instigated or directed his crew or his team to pop Offset. He was shot in the cheek, which is funny because it's like, was he walking away from the casino? Was he like, y'all ain't getting this money? And he's like running away, and then they got him. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah, those images are something. And I hope he recovers. It's good to know that he's expected to be okay.
Yeah, first and foremost, we want him to be healthy and safe. But secondly, like, it's
you got to pay your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to handle your business.
You got to handle your business.
All right, well, let's talk about someone who's had lots of business lately. Halle Bailey, she's now opening up a bit because she got a lot of backlash during her Little Mermaid days. And then, of course, she says that she did receive some love. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, first off, I am so glad that she is opening up about this. And it was such... I mean, I don't know that we need to rehash it all that much, but clearly she was cast as the Little Mermaid, which is like inspired by the old book, and then there was the movie from the 90s that in and of itself was a classic. And in the movie in the 90s, obviously it's a young Caucasian mermaid with red hair, and then people were up in arms about Bailey being cast as the mermaid because of the color of her skin, which is a horrible. It's hard to unpack that briefly. Stupid thing to be mad about. And the backlash online was gross. It was really gross, and it revealed more about the people commenting upon that than anything else. Anyhow, she didn't say a whole lot about it at the time.
She said nothing.
She just kind of took it like a champ.
Yeah.
And now she's come out and she says, you know what, there were lots of people who came out in my corner. She talked about Zendaya came out in her corner. Ariana Grande reached out. Rachel Zegler, who went on to play Snow White, reached out. She said,
and she got backlash too.
And she got backlash too. Yeah, she got backlash too. Also, that movie was so weird.
It was going to get its own backlash for that.
There's so many things wrong with that movie, and she's not one of them. So one of the things that she talks about in here is that she, and this is sort of unique to me, this reveals her mental perspective. She said she treated it as a little experiment where she sort of stepped outside of herself and just kind of looked at all of the things that people were saying about her and knew that it was not a reflection of her own value, but just sort of analyzed like, this is what happened for me just playing a made-up role.
That's the thing, because mermaids, I hate to break it to you, are not real.
Yeah.
So
Sirens,
they could be purple for all we know.
They could be purple.
They could be silver.
They could be silver. The sirens, I want the good people of Atlanta, sirens are very real. Mermaids, not as real. That we know of.
Plenty of movies with the sirens too.
They're walking around Atlanta. We got sirens on the belt.
Get out of here.
You gotta look out.
I hope you're not falling prey. Yeah?
Never. I would never.
All right, well, let's go ahead and switch topics and start talking about Ryan Seacrest, because he is like the bachelor of all bachelors.
He is falling prey to the sirens.
Well, let's hear what he had to say.
I think simple things can tell a lot. We talk about politeness to strangers, right?
I'm ready for this. Let's hear it.
When you're out on a run or a walk or a bike ride, do you say hi to people that pass? And if you don't, I'm not so sure about you. And if you're asked, if someone says good morning to you on the path and you don't respond, that is a red flag.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Wait, I have thoughts.
I would love to hear your thoughts.
So, first of all, I don't think I immediately say hello to strangers, but that's a northern thing, right? We don't immediately say hi. We don't immediately say hi to strangers. But if someone says hi to me, I will absolutely say hi back.
Right. Yes.
So I feel like you have to consider where the person's from, because it might not be rude off rip, but I would love to know what you have to say.
That's the ROR factor. Not a lot of people talk about rude off rip. So I get it. Like, he wants you to be nice. He wants you to be a little outgoing. Okay, fair. We can say that's a fine thing. The other thing that he talked about, what was his other thing right there? He's like, be nice to people. One of the other things he talks about is like, you need to be able to be ready in 27 minutes. That's something that he talked about in that longer clip. Not 25 minutes, not 30, because Seacrest has got places he's going. You need to be able to get fully ready to go in 27 minutes. And I just want everyone in Atlanta to know, like, when you're when you're a guy and you get old enough in life, you realize that what you're not going to do is put a limit on how long your partner needs to get ready.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. Studies have shown that the happiest of marriages are a true reflection of how good the woman looks. So if she's looking all good, that means the man is treating her well.
He also knows what not to write down in those surveys. I'll tell you that for sure, too.
You know what?
He definitely...
I will give you that.
Yeah. The other thing about Seacrest is in the longer run of it, he gets to talking about how he doesn't want the alarm on your phone to be like a loud, aggressive sound. He wants it to be like a nice little chime. And then he talks about, like, he wants you to enjoy your coffee with him in the morning. He's a big coffee guy. Okay, cool. But then he says it's like no cream, no sugar, just straight black coffee, and anything else is a red flag for him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's got a long list there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everyone's entitled to their own stipulations.
I just want to say this real quick. I was driving on my way here to the station, and I was thinking about these stories. And one of the things that I judge people on is if you cut in line. If we're all in line in cars because we have to go straight here, and you run up fast and try to cut in that auto line, I judge you for it. Yeah. If you don't put the shopping cart back, I judge you for it.
We should just keep this going in the break. I just want to
serious.
hear everybody's red flags.
Yeah.
Wait till y'all hear mine.
Oh,
anyway, you can check out Head Crack Tanner and Claudia Jordan on Side Dish on Fox Soul at 7 p.m. and on YouTube.
All right, that was Alex Whitler discussing, wow, Ryan Seacrest really does have a long list. He's always single. Maybe that's one of the reasons why. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we go, we want to introduce you to something else that you can do on this beautiful weekend that we have ahead, and that is the festival on Ponce. Our Eli Jordan is out there. Eli, walk us through, already looking gorgeous behind you there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great day out here on Olmsted Linear Park. If you're going from Atlanta to Decatur on Ponce, you'll notice on your right-hand side that there's a string of parks there. That's where I'm at. And it's free this weekend, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday. It's free. You can bring your dogs. You can bring a cooler and a blanket to sit down on, and you can relax and listen to some DJs, 80s and 90s music. And you can also check out some really cool artists like Mr. Michael Brennan here. Hello, Mr. Michael Brennan. How you doing?
Hello. Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So you travel all the way from Tampa to display and sell your art, don't you?
This show is Tampa. I started in Tampa. I come up to Atlanta. It's a very good art market close by. It doesn't take that long to get here, where traffic is cooperating properly. And there's plenty of shows in Atlanta, and we have the Atlanta Foundation for Public Spaces. Anytime I get an opportunity to work with them, I won't miss that. Working with Randall, these are free shows. They're family friendly. Everyone comes out. Something about his magical powers. He always makes beautiful weather like this.
Oh yeah, it is.
So
and you make beautiful art too.
Well, thank you.
And I noticed that you like Porsche automobiles and horses too.
It's a good combination, don't you think? They just naturally go together.
Yeah, I mean, well, you ride both of them too. Forms of transportation. So tell me, where do you get your inspirations from? You're in Tampa. I mean, do they have a lot of Porsche and horses in Tampa?
Occasionally they do. Actually, Tampa is a big saddlebred show from the fairgrounds once a year, and you don't have to go too far outside of Tampa to the rural communities to find a lot of different disciplines of horses. You have hunter jumpers, you have rodeo, you have reining, there's actually polo, and a lot of saddlebred collectors in Tampa as well, so you don't have to look too far to find them. And then not to mention, we've got the racetrack in Oldsmar, and you'll find a lot of Derby contenders that will show up at that track.
Do you get a lot of your inspiration from some of those horses and stuff? You go to the track and get some inspiration. Is that what you tell everybody? Hey, I'm going to the track, get some inspiration.
We could go down that road, but you don't have enough time. Horses are just the most magnificent creatures. Once you spend just a little bit of time with them, you really begin to understand how the world was built on the backs of horses.
Oh yeah, they're magnificent creatures.
We owe them a debt of gratitude. They're good for us. They're good for our children. People complain sometimes about how much it costs to keep their children involved in the horse business. I say, do whatever you got to do.
So real quick, let me ask you this before we run out of time. Why do you like to come out here to the Spring Festival on Ponce? What is it about this certain festival?
A lot of it has to do with the Atlanta Foundation. I did a show with them years ago, maybe 14 years ago. It was actually at the Steeplechase up in Kingston, and I was invited to come down to do this show, and I came down here and had a remarkable show, met a lot of artists, had a wonderful time. The team with the Atlanta Foundation is just the most amazing people to work with, and it was just delightful every moment to be involved in that. And I will do this show. If there's no other shows left to do, I will carry this stuff on my back to come up here and do this show.
Well, awesome, Michael Britton. Thank you so much for talking with us today. And guys, you guys can come out here this weekend and check out some of his art, buy some of his art. He doesn't have all of it up yet. I called him while he was still setting up his booth, and I'm going to let him continue to do that. But just a reminder, tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. out here at Olmsted Linear Park, this whole park will be lined with everybody's set. You can see artists setting up out here, and it's free. Remember, it's free. You can bring your dog, you can bring a cooler, you can relax and just enjoy yourself. If the big park is too much for you, come out to this smaller park on Ponce. The festival on Ponce, Spring Festival, come on out. It's free this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Back to you guys.
All right, Eli Jordan, thanks so much. So much to do this weekend, from this festival to the big Dogwood Festival. You need to get out and enjoy the weather. All right, that's my time for Fox 5 News at 1 o'clock. Ariel Onsot coming up next with more news and weather in the next hour. We'll see you then.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. We've got a lot of news to get to, so let's get out to our Ray Urena in Clayton County. We know that a 2-alarm fire has displaced dozens of people and hurt at least one person. So, Ray, you're joining us live from outside of that building right now. What are you learning?
Yeah, right now, Ariel, after close to 7 hours since this fire started, it appears that firefighters have gotten a pretty good handle on the hot spots right now. When you joined us at noon or even at 11 a.m., you saw the amount of smoke that was behind us, but it looks like firefighters have gotten a handle on the hot spots and they are not pouring water at this time. But what this does allow us to show is the amount of rubble and damage that is left over by this 2-alarm fire that started this morning. Now, Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services responded to a 2-alarm fire at Building 13 of the Premier Garden Apartments along Garden Walk Boulevard. Firefighters say they got the call at 7:39 this morning and arrived within minutes to see heavy fire at the back of the building. Medics evaluated 5 people at the scene and transported one of them to Grady Memorial Hospital. The fire displaced a total of 36 residents, and firefighters estimate the property damage to be about $750,000. Shania Forrester says she woke up this morning right as the fire started, and within seconds the fire was at her apartment door. She was able to grab her phone before jumping off her balcony with her brother to safety, and here's how she described those first few moments.
I was in shock. I can't even tell you. I was probably, my brain probably just stopped right there because I didn't get keys. You know, I didn't get the important things. I was just, and then the fire came so fast, I had to hurry up and get out. My brother was freaking out. I don't know. It's just a terrible situation.
Shania tells me that she lost everything in that fire that tore through her home right behind us. Now, there's no words on any potential cause what may have started this fire. There's no word yet on that, but we do know that the American Red Cross has been helping people like Shania try and find a new place to stay for the night, Ariel.
Ray, horrible situation. Your heart just goes out to that family and so many others who are affected by all of this. Assuming the Red Cross, other organizations are involved, I think you mentioned some of the different relief efforts that were ongoing.
Yeah, the American Red Cross is on hand. They've been, right as I was talking with Shania, they were on the phone with her. She was waiting on a call back. She's hoping they will be able to get a place to stay through the Red Cross today. They're also reaching out to family. She's also had family reach out to her. So there's definitely a lot of outreach going on, and in Shania's case in particular, since we talked to her, you know, when we lose everything, we lose everything, because in that apartment she also had her car keys. So though she was able to get out with her phone, she didn't get out with her car keys. So her car is now stuck out here and is not able to drive. So she's having to rely on other people to get around for the moment while she tries to get new keys for her car.
Right. Thank you so much for letting us know what's happening. We'll continue to keep updated as you follow the story for the rest of the day today, hoping she's able to get her vehicle back here soon, or at least some method of transportation. So, Ray, thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, let's talk about a big story we were following last night and into this morning. After a 4-hour manhunt in DeKalb County, police have captured the man you just saw on your screen, Tremaine McCluskey. He is accused of opening fire on a DeKalb County deputy, or DeKalb County police officer, who was assisting another agency in serving an arrest warrant. That man was captured after that nearly 4-hour manhunt, 4-hour-long manhunt, like I mentioned. And here's what we know. DeKalb County police officers were helping Cobb County with an armed robbery investigation around 5 yesterday afternoon. That operation happened in the area of Glenwood Road and Shamrock Drive, and it shut down traffic in the area for hours. During the encounter, the suspect opened fire and struck a DeKalb County officer, according to police. Our Skyfox 5 cameras were actually able to capture some of that massive presence and give us an understanding as to what was going on. The officer received non-life-threatening injuries and reportedly is in stable condition. Tremaine McCluskey was captured by the SWAT team shortly before 9 yesterday evening, so we'll keep you updated as this progresses. Also want to let you know about a massive bust that happened in Clayton County. 78 people arrested and guns and drugs seized. It was a multi-agency operation operation targeting violent fugitives in Clayton County, and it led to dozens of arrests. Major seizures of drugs, guns, and cash, and the United States Marshals were the lead on this. They said it was a 3-week effort carried out from March 16th through April 3rd. 78 people were arrested, including dozens of violent offenders, some wanted for serious crimes like murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault. So we'll keep you updated as this progresses through, but they were also able to seize, they say, 46 illegal firearms, 57 pounds of narcotics, and about $18,000 in cash during this operation. So that is what we're learning about that. But in case you have not seen 187 pounds of methamphetamines, check it out. This is what it looks like in a storage container. Authorities seized this during a drug bust in Norcross. Federal agents have charged Alberto Ortiz Orsonio and Marco Antonio Solano Posadas with trafficking. Investigators found the drugs inside several 12-gallon bins at a home and a car. So you're getting a look at just some of what officers were able to find there. But they say that they were able to seize that April 3rd during a raid. Authorities haven't released the specific street value of this meth, and while the investigation is ongoing, we're not sure if authorities plan to make more arrests or if this is related to a specific trafficking operation, but we'll keep you updated as it progresses. But there's a lot of things happening this weekend. Beautiful spring weather and, of course, Dogwood Festival. So let's get out live to our Deidre Dukes from Piedmont Park. Deidre, great to see you. Beautiful day behind you. But I understand Atlanta Police and a lot of different partners are going to be making sure they're monitoring situations this weekend.
That's right. So many people are going to be out and about, Ariel, this weekend as spring break wraps up for a lot of metro area schools. And, of course, the Atlanta Dogwood Festival is always popular. So you'll have people come in from across the state and other areas as well to participate here in the festival. And after last week's deadly shooting here at Piedmont Park, Atlanta Police and the executive director of the festival just wanting to reassure people that they do have a solid security plan in place so people can come out here, enjoy themselves, focus on the beautiful artwork that we're seeing out here, just enjoying and making the most of the weekend while they have their eyes and ears out and about, ensuring that things stay safe out here. Now, as we arrived earlier this afternoon, we did see several Atlanta police officers gathered, being given their assignments as to what they're going to be doing here in the park, and then also in the outlying neighborhoods, the surrounding area. Also really monitoring traffic, helping with traffic congestion, because there was some concerns last weekend about that when we had so many events kind of taking place around the same time that traffic was really congested in this area. So they're also really monitoring traffic and trying to ease traffic congestion here in the surrounding area as well. But we were told by Police Chief Schierbaum that they really are working, as they do every year, with the festival board to ensure that they have a really strong security plan in place. They've augmented that plan in light of the additional traffic that they saw last weekend. So many people coming into the park, knowing that it's going to be a beautiful weekend, and also, frankly, that there are concerns about security after the deadly shooting that claimed the life of a 16-year-old girl, another girl injured in that shooting over the weekend, last weekend. So they really wanted to make sure that, in addition to uniformed police officers, they also have plainclothes officers out here. They've got police on motorcycles, just a really strong presence, in addition to officers on foot here in the surrounding areas outside of the park. Just really, the chief said, doing all that they can to ensure on the front end a enjoyable, secure experience for all.
Traditionally has a very robust security plan. I have reviewed that, and we've added additional resources to that security plan. So more uniformed officers will be present in the park. We're very mindful about the concerns around traffic and illegal parking that was occurring at Piedmont Park. We've added additional motors officers on motorcycles, officers that will be patrolling the ancillary streets and addressing what we saw last weekend. Weather's going to be beautiful. Everyone is still on spring break, and so we're going to make sure that if you're going to go out and enjoy Dogwood Festival, I'm going to be there. You're going to have a good time, and you're going to see the Atlanta Police Department. We just just ask your viewers and your readers and your listeners, if you see something that seems out of place, call 911 right away. We're going to have extra 911 operators working this weekend. It's going to be safe, and we're going to have an enjoyable time. And if you're going to come there to cause harm, we're going to hold you accountable.
And as they work that security plan, the chief also noting that they are actively continuing to search for the suspects who did open fire here at Piedmont Park last Saturday. They said that they released some photos of individuals that they want to talk to, that they're looking for in connection with the shooting. They said they've gotten some strong leads on that, and they do expect, Ariel, to have an update on the search for suspects in this case shortly. Meantime, they just want to make sure, Ariel, everyone knows that they have got eyes and ears out here, that they are actively patrolling both the park and surrounding communities, just doing what they can to ensure this is a safe, enjoyable weekend for anyone who makes it out here to enjoy the festivities this weekend.
Deidre, good to know. Yeah, we saw the 3 photos they had released of those persons of interest that they were wanting to speak to, and a $15,000 reward for information, which is really pretty incredible. So we'll keep you updated. Hopefully they're able to give us that update soon. You touched on it a little bit just as you were at the park today, what you were seeing from maybe some officers who were already out there. Any other preps underway that you noticed that you thought, hey, maybe this looks different than years past, or anything else that caught your eye?
Just really the sheer number of law enforcement officers here, not only as we arrived here at the park, but all the patrol cars that they have staged in the area, the number of tow trucks that they have out, because they also are saying that they will be taking the traffic situation very seriously here. You know, if you're parking illegally, that sort of thing. They are already prepared with tow trucks in place to haul people out of here. So just things of that nature. It's just clear that everything's being done on the front end that can be done on the part of the folks who run the festival, and also the police chief, to just ensure on the front end that they're doing all they can to ensure that this is an enjoyable experience and hopefully a safe experience for everybody who comes out this weekend.
Deidre, thanks so much for letting us know what you're seeing and hearing, eyes and ears there in the park before this gets underway, or rather as it does this weekend. So Deidre, thank you so much for joining us live. I'll let you get back to information gathering, and we'll see you again later this evening. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, let's shift globally to what we are seeing with the situation in the Middle East, because it is a situation we continue to monitor closely as the shaky ceasefire with Iran continues to hold, but it's less than a week in and tensions are high. The vice president's going to take part in negotiations this weekend, and today's inflation numbers are likely a factor as the White House is trying to find a permanent end to the war. We're going to talk about those inflation numbers in just a bit, but first, Vice President J.D. Vance, like you just saw, was departing for Pakistan this morning. He's going to lead those high-level talks between the United States and Iran, and the meeting comes as this fragile truce is really at risk of falling apart. Israel has continued to bomb Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, and that's a key sticking point for Iran. Wednesday was the deadliest day yet, with more than 300 people killed, according to the country's health ministry. Negotiations between Israel and Lebanon are set to happen next week in Washington. Until then, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the strikes are going to continue. President Trump, meanwhile, is not happy with Iran's chokehold over the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but this months-long blockade is driving up the latest inflation numbers, which saw their biggest increase in 4 years. The war's economic impact here at home weighing on the minds of the White House ahead of this weekend's talks. The president insists that gas prices are going to plunge shortly after the war, but how soon that's going to be will be anyone's guess. So let's talk about why Iran says it's going to continue to control the Strait of Hormuz and what that looks like, because at this point, the head of Iran's Parliamentary National Security Committee, Ibrahim Azizi, you're seeing a photo of him there, says that the strait is not going to return to the pre-war control system, and further suggests that the waterway will continue to be controlled by Iranian military and other security bodies. This strait is vital to the world's oil supplies, and not just oil supplies, but shipments of a lot of other crucial goods like fertilizer. It's been at the center of talks between the U.S. and Iran as that ceasefire has been announced for 2 weeks. Questions remain over what's going to happen to the stockpile of Iran's enriched uranium. and when normal traffic's going to begin in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to continue to keep you updated as that progresses. But you know, this was a big concern for critics of this war, basically saying that what this has done is allowed Iran to really see the control they possess over this vital waterway, a control maybe they would not have realized they could exercise had it not been for where we find ourselves now. So this is going to be something we continue to keep an eye on. But like I mentioned, the vice president is going to be leading those peace talks in Islamabad between the United States and Pakistan. He spoke briefly before boarding Air Force Two about how the negotiations were looking. So I'd like to let you take a listen to what he had to say.
Hey guys, good morning. Thanks for coming. Look, we're looking forward to the negotiation. I think it's going to be positive. We'll of course see, as the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive. So we're going to try to have a positive negotiation. The President has gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see. So I hope you guys have a safe flight. We'll certainly take some questions later on, but for now, let's get on the plane and hit the road. Thank you all.
Well, President Trump recently accused Iran of doing a, quote, dishonorable job after the ceasefire agreement by not reopening the strait. And while it is, quote unquote, open, it's really at a virtual standstill with heavy traffic blocking that key waterway. So another big story that a lot of you guys are talking about online and on social media, we see it, is the automatic military draft and what that looks like, because the automatic military draft registration starts this year. And here's what you need to know. A new rule passed by Congress last year will automatically register eligible men in the Selective Service, or the military draft system. This is instead of requiring them to register themselves. Under federal law, most men between 18 and 25 years old are required to register with the Selective Service in case Congress and the President authorize a military draft. The country ended conscription and moved to an all-volunteer military in 1973 at the end of the Vietnam War, but the U.S. military will now automatically register eligible men for the Selective Service draft system later this year. So basically, instead of eligible men needing to register themselves for the Selective Service, they will automatically be enrolled. So that is how that's going to work. Also want to talk to you about, like I promised, the latest inflation report and what we are seeing with that, because before the war spiked gas prices, a new economic report showed that everyday costs were truly already high. The Federal Reserve's key inflation gauge climbed about 0.4% in February, and compared with a year ago, prices rose 2.8%, matching January's pace. Now today, we expect the Consumer Price Index report for March on inflation, and that's going to be the first report that's truly going to show the war's impact on costs. We expect it to show roughly a 3.4% year-over-year gain, and if the rise in inflation extends beyond high gas prices, the Federal Reserve may need to step in, and that could look like raising interest rates yet again, even though they have dropped them slightly in recent months. Minutes from the Fed's policy meeting last month show some officials supported potentially raising interest rates. So this is going to be something that we keep a very close eye on, because that's going to affect a lot of things if interest rates do go back up. Relief from this week's ceasefire may reduce the urgency for rate hikes, but it's going to depend on what a long-term peace deal may look like. The Federal Reserve does meet again in 3 weeks after holding rates steady in March. So we'll continue to keep you updated as that progresses forward. As we look ahead here at 2 o'clock, we're going to get a check of your weather forecast with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Want to let you know what to expect as we head into this beautiful spring weekend. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We've got a lot of news still ahead. Want to talk a little bit about the hurricane predictions for this year, as well as how much you're going to be paying for stamps now that the U.S. Postal Service has made the decision to increase. Also want to talk about how a social media ban is gaining steam in a lot of different countries and what they're looking at. But first, meteorologist Jonathan Stacey lets us know what to expect with our weather for this weekend.
Well, we're about to turn abnormally warm for the month of April. The first 4 days of the month featured heat in the 80-plus degree category. April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, and April 4th. Temperatures all above 80 degrees. However, we started out this week with temperatures that were right on the money for this time of the year. The average high temperature for Easter Sunday, 71. The average high continues to rise. Now we're in the 72 to 73 degree range. And look at this. We've been kind of playing with the average number. Below average on Monday, and then above average for Tuesday, and then below average for Wednesday, right on the money for Thursday. But let's bring out the red paint here, because we're about to fill these boxes up here as the temperatures are about to go on a prolonged heat streak, and it begins today. Above average, 79 degrees here in Atlanta. The average high for this time of the year, the 10th day or the 100th day of the year, that is 73 degrees. 73 is going to be a pass-by temperature. In fact, all communities, even into the mountains, will roll past the low 70s into the mid-70s. 76 degrees there in Blairsville. Come down south and you're going to find temperatures getting really close to the 80-degree mark. If you don't hit it today, you have another really good opportunity tomorrow, and that opportunity continues into the week to come. Well, it'll be kind of crisp tomorrow morning when you wake up, but a really nice start to the weekend. Temperatures on either side of 50 degrees when you kick off your weekend morning. Saturday specifically, 53 here in Atlanta, 47 Cartersville, 47 Dalton, 48 over there in Tallapoosa. Go out east to the lakes. You'll find temperatures in the high 40s as well. Not a bad start to the weekend at all. And there's not a bad middle, and there's not a bad end. In fact, sunshine is going to be our friend. An area of high pressure will rest smack dab over the southeastern United States, and it's going to cancel a cloud cover, and it most definitely will keep out any wet weather. Look at all the wet weather. It's out west. It's up to the north. It cannot break entry as long as high pressure abides over our area. That's the story tomorrow. Let's fast forward the clock into Sunday, and that's the same story on Sunday. By Monday, this shield of clouds is going to try to advance to the east, but it doesn't bring us anything. We're going to keep the rain-free streak going. You can see those clouds rolling in as you head back to work and school on Monday. Let's not talk about that, but at least you'll be going back with dry conditions, and we'll call it maybe partly cloudy. For the weekend, especially tomorrow, sunshine is all yours. Starting out in the 50s, those highs boosting to the 80s, 86 degrees for Saturday. We may knock off a degree for Sunday, but it's tomato. Who cares? This is very summer-like. It's like late May going into early June when we find temperatures this warm. However, this is the way we're going to go through the second full weekend of April. In terms of the week to come, this is what you have. Not a good opportunity for rain at any point in time. Maybe we'll sneak in an isolated shower or two as we get into next week, the latter part of the week, specifically looking at Friday, as basically you have so much warmth along with a little bit of humidity eking in. Maybe we could get an isolated thunder shower. But you can see here, I'm really trying to thread the needle. There's not a good opportunity for rain in the near future. You can see it here. There's plenty of sunshine though, and there is an abundance of warmth. These temperatures are off the chain. Look at these near 90-degree temperatures. The heat will be building next week. However, the humidity is likely going to stay in the pocket. We're going to keep it comfortable, but we're going to bring out the sun, and the sun is going to do its job.
Awesome, Jonathan. Thanks so much for letting us know what to expect. As we are in the business of letting you guys know what to expect, let's talk a little bit about the hurricane forecast for this year. Meteorologist Alex Forbes was speaking about this yesterday, but we want to continue to examine this because one thing that forecasters are taking a look at is a lower than average hurricane season. The 2026 hurricane season forecast is out, predicting more than a dozen tropical storms this year, but Colorado State's the university that releases this outlook each year, and this year they predict 6 hurricanes, including 2 that could become major hurricanes. It really only takes one, and if you've experienced one, you know what that can be like. In 2024, Hurricane Helene decimated parts of the southeast region, and especially a lot of farmers and families across Appalachia and here in Georgia. But we know that when we were taking a look at this situation, our crews were really on the ground, not just monitoring the damage physically to properties and things like that, but also the environmental and cost impact to a lot of Georgia's industries, especially peanut and other commodities farmers. Then again in 2025, we saw Hurricane Erin flood coastal regions and swallow parts of the Outer Banks beachfront. Scientists compare these past weather conditions to try to make future forecasts. This year, the outlook is predicting a below average hurricane season. It does warn, though, of, quote, high levels of uncertainty. The outlook is predicting Florida has the highest chance of a hurricane making landfall this year. And with the official season starting June 1st, those preparations are already underway. You know, if you're Florida, you cannot be too careful when it comes to hurricanes. But let's talk about what you're going to pay for the price of stamps, because it is official. The U.S. Postal Service is now going to be increasing what you pay. They filed a note with the Postal Regulatory Commission on Thursday to make those changes for stamps by July 12th. The new proposed rates, if approved, would increase mailing services products prices for nearly 4.8%, so almost 5%, which would increase the prices of letters from 78 to 82 cents. So if you've got a letter to mail, that's what the change is going to be. In a release, the department said these changes come amid, quote, a severe financial crisis. Despite the suggested changes, the agency is assuring customers its mailing prices are still some of the most affordable in the world. Curious if you agree, if you've mailed a package overseas or used another country's mailing service, how does the USPS stack up? This is something that we continue to take a look at, considering how they have had to raise their prices over the years, and especially since they are struggling to find funding for the long term as an agency. In the meantime, one thing that's gaining some momentum and steam is banning social media for kids and teenagers. A growing number of countries are actually looking at blanket bans to try to keep students and kids safe from social media. But the question is, do they work? You know, proponents say, yes, it's the quickest and best way to try to keep risks that social media poses at bay. Critics say it's a flimsy fix and it avoids the real problem. Tech companies are not doing enough to protect their youngest users. Australia became the first country last December to require TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and other sites to remove accounts held by those 16 and under, or face heavy fines. And we know Greece actually just announced it's going to ban access to social media for children under 15 beginning January 1st of next year. Several other European countries, including the UK, Spain, France, Austria, Poland, and Slovenia, are all drafting their own proposals, as well as Malaysia. A national ban in the United States looks doubtful at this point, but Congress is debating the Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act. That would expand protections to users 13 to 16. So that's something that we're going to closely monitor, especially since in recent weeks, a jury found Meta misled users about child safety on its apps, and another found both Meta and YouTube designed features that led to a plaintiff's mental health problems. There are thousands of lawsuits still yet to be resolved, but the fact that 2 really key lawsuits have been decided against Meta is interesting. A final note is that on that Australian ban, after just 3 months, research shows that Australian teens are still finding ways to access social media, like downloading VPNs, virtual private networks, to be able to hide their location to try to access social sites. So something we'll keep you updated on, especially here as lawmakers discuss online protection acts for kids stateside. Coming up as we continue here at 2 o'clock, we're going to take a look at a few different stories. Want to take, of course, a look at astronauts returning from Artemis, or on the Artemis 2 mission, as they made their way around the moon later today. Fingers crossed for that safe landing. As we continue to take a look, we're going to check in with what they're having to say regarding their mission. I also want to let you know about what the First Lady is saying regarding claims that she knew or fraternized with Jeffrey Epstein. That is straight ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. Want to get to the latest of a story that has a lot of you talking. Yesterday, we heard from First Lady Melania Trump as it relates to claims she says are being made about her and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, one thing that she added that was very interesting, I found at least, was that she called for Congress to allow Epstein survivors to speak during a public hearing and allow their stories to be entered into the congressional record, because she said only then can we know the truth about what happened. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Good afternoon. The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions.
You're listening to First Lady Melania Trump speak there about ties that she says and rumors circulating about her and Jeffrey Epstein. She says that she was not friends with Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, but was in the same circle as them, considering they were in the New York and Palm Beach, Florida, similar circles. She said that one email she sent to Maxwell was just a casual correspondence, and she again called on Congress to allow Epstein survivors to speak during a public hearing to allow their stories to be entered into the congressional record, saying that is the only way we will know the truth. Let's switch gears here to talk about a big story that we are all closely watching and will be following later this evening, as we know that the Artemis 2 mission is preparing for re-entry. NASA's lunar comeback is almost complete. The crew's gearing up for one last out-of-this-world day, and then their return could truly be their most dangerous feat yet. Take a look at the simulation. The astronauts are coming back in their Orion capsule at nearly 24,000 miles per hour and in a ball of fire, no less. It's because an all-important heat shield will bear the full force of re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. If all goes according to plan, this will happen around 8 o'clock Eastern time, and they will land in the Pacific near San Diego. Artemis 2 Commander Reed Wiseman has been reflecting on their historic mission. He said that every morning all the astronauts go through their morning routine and run final equipment checks before their return to Earth today. Take a listen to what the astronauts had to say.
our purpose on the planet as humans is to find joy, to find the joy in lifting each other up by creating solutions together instead of destroying. And when you see it from out here, it doesn't change it. It just absolutely reaffirms that. It's almost like seeing living proof of it.
We have to get back. There's so much data that you've seen already, but all the good stuff is coming back with us. There's so many more pictures, so many more stories, and gosh, I haven't even begun to process what we've been through.
We really are here to serve NASA, to serve our two nations, Canadian Space Agency, NASA, and the international community, and we're here to serve for Artemis 3. But what we really hoped in our soul is that we could, for just a moment, have the world pause and remember that this is a beautiful planet in a very special place in our universe, and we should all cherish what we have been gifted.
This whole thing is a package. We can't explore deeper unless we are doing a few things that are inconvenient, unless we're making a few sacrifices, unless we're taking a few risks, and those things are all worth it.
Well, the team's taken some big risks for sure going around the moon, and now with their re-entry to Earth, the heat shield has to withstand thousands of degrees of heat during re-entry. For mission control, there's going to be 6 tense minutes of communication blackout before the parachute opens. All eyes really now are going to be on the skies above San Diego. Weather is a big factor in the astronauts' return and something that we're going to keep a close eye on. The recovery ship USS John P. Murtha is going to be there for the crew's arrival with a squadron of military planes and helicopters to be able to grab the astronauts as they come in. On Earth, we know that a lot of you are excited, us included, as we watch this historic moment later this evening. The Orion capsule is completely self-flying. The astronauts don't plan on taking manual control except in the event of an emergency. So this is truly a spectacular feat that is going to be underway later this evening. And of course, you can watch it live right here on Fox Local. As we continue, let's bring you a little closer to Earth with a big festival happening in Piedmont Park. We heard from our Deidre Dukes about the security and different things that police are doing to try to make sure that festival goers stay safe this weekend. Now our Chris Rosenthal joins us live to give us a preview of what you can actually expect and enjoy with the park. Chris, looks like a beautiful weekend for really one of the first festivals that kind of kicks off festival season here in our city.
Absolutely. It's sort of a tradition here. For 90 years, the Dogwood Festival has been going on here. So 1936, that's quite a long time ago. And but it's still going strong. This year. Costs have gone up a little bit. So this year's the first year where they are have actually had a charge to come to the Dogwood Festival, but it's pretty nominal. It's only about today on Friday, it's only about $5 adults, and on Saturday, Sunday, $10. You can get tickets online ahead of time, or you can get them here if you just kind of make a last-minute decision to come on out here to Piedmont Park. But yeah, there's, it's Friday. This opened up around noon today, goes till 9 today. Again, goes through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And, as you can see, people are already out. This is just a small part of the park, if you're familiar with it. And people are already out checking out the art, all the artist exhibits that surround the oval here. They'll have music. I think a little later today, there's going to be some improv comedy on the theater stages here, and plenty of food, plenty of beverages. They do encourage, if you want to come out, do encourage, taking rideshare, or, there are some parking areas around, but, it is expected to be busy. Beautiful weather today, and expected all this weekend. You got some, a little bit of everything for art. We got some jewelry here, and we've got some really nice mixed medium art here, and I got one of the artists, Amanda Bennett. Tell me, looking around some of this art, tell me a little bit about your art that you have here.
My work is mixed media. I'm inspired by nostalgic things, but I also really love mid-century advertising. I love the colors, and I love just kind of the pop that advertising had. So that really inspires a lot of my work.
Wow. And so mixed media, I mean, what sorts of, what are you working with here?
It's mostly acrylic. I do have a lot of texture in my pieces, and that's modeling paste. I like to create depth in those images, but it is mostly acrylic. I use charcoal, some oil stick, you know, a little bit of crayon here and there, anything at my disposal.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite or one here?
Oh, see, that's hard to say. It changes every time there's a new one. It's the favorite one, right?
Yeah.
I do happen to love this food piece here, mostly because of the message. It's about coming together and welcoming everyone at your table. So.
Gotcha. And I see some of this art you have for sale, and you also have prints as well, huh?
Absolutely. Have prints, have small pieces, a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, this is the 90th year for the Dogwood Festival. You know, tell me about what it's like to be involved in that.
You know what? It's been great. I have been a full-time artist for about 15 years now, and I have been here at this show for a better part of those years. It's one of the best ones. It's just so well established. I love that everyone in the city comes out. And it's just nice to see familiar faces, and there's something to do for everybody. You know, get your turkey leg, come look at some art, go listen to some live music, and come see us.
I haven't had the turkey leg yet, but I may have to go get that. So wonderful. This is just one of the many, many art exhibits here, and art booths that you can come take a look at. And of course, you know, if you see something you like, you can always buy it. And it's just nice to stroll. I mean, it's like I said, we're gonna have beautiful, beautiful weather all weekend here at Piedmont Park. This goes until 9 tonight, 9 on Saturday, and then 6 p.m. on Sunday. So yeah, come on out, check out the music, check out the food, check out the art, and just enjoy the weather.
Chris, this looks like a beautiful time, and I love getting to see all the different types of art every year, the different artists who travel all across the region and even the country to come to a festival like this. Amanda's work was really cool. I loved that fox one with the vase that was around. It looked really good. And this art you're showing us now, everything is so interesting and individualized to that artist. So there's really something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all kinds of medium. You know, you might find something for your home. You might find something to hang on your wall, something quirky, something not so quirky, you know, something functional. Got mugs here, you know, so a little bit of something. And you know, even if you're not in the mood to buy some art, it's just beautiful to be out here. So,
Chris, before I let you go, what's one thing that you would do at Dogwood that you couldn't miss?
Oh gosh, you know,
putting you on the spot.
Tempted by that turkey leg.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted by the turkey leg.
It sounded like it.
I kind of want to do that.
Well, maybe you do it and report back. Let us know how it is, if it's worth it. I'll let you continue gandering around, and we'll see you back here coming up at 3 o'clock. All right, guys, that was Chris Rosenthal letting us know what to expect for Dogwood Festival this weekend. As we continue here, we are entering the spring festival season, really just a beautiful time of year here in the city of Atlanta. So coming up next, we're going to go out to Olmsted Park and take a look at the Festival on Ponce with our Eli Jordan. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. Let's get out live to our Eli Jordan, who's showing us a festival we could take advantage of, a little smaller, Spring Festival on Ponce. And Eli, it looks lovely out where you are.
It's quite lovely out here, Ariel, and I am at Olmsted Linear Park. You know, if you're going from Atlanta to Decatur down Ponce, when you look to your right, close to the Paideia School, right at the Paideia School, you'll see this little string of parks. That's where the Spring Festival on Ponce is happening, and people are arriving. It starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and then 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Sunday, and it's free. You can bring your dog, you can bring a cooler, you can bring a blanket, and you can also listen to a DJ playing some 80s and 90s music. And also too, though, you can check out some cool art, and I found some cool art here. Ariel, this is really cool. It's punk art, and it's by Sam North. He's out of Florida, and this is his first soiree into the Atlanta area with your art. Sam North, how you doing?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
So how you feel about being in Birmingham with your art?
I mean, I'm very happy. Just been traveling around the Southeast the last couple months. This will stretch out the rest of the year all the way up to the Midwest, New York. I'm having a great time every day.
So how you feel about the Olmsted Linear Park here and the Spring Festival on Ponce? This is your first time checking it out?
I mean, it could not be nicer out here. I mean, this is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful park. Hopefully we'll get a lot of people.
So you got some pretty wild art here, a lot of active stuff going on here. We were talking about it earlier. I said, is it okay if I call it punk art? And you're cool with that.
Punk rock is the only thing in the world that I care. It's one of only two valid art forms. I mean, it's basically my artwork and punk rock, and everything else is kind of
And so a funny story about you, though, is you graduated from law school.
Yeah, I went to...
And you did something really well with your law degree. You became an artist.
Yeah, well, you know, law is not fun. This is fun. They don't let you paint funny faces in a courtroom. They don't let you, like, scribble about the crazy things that are going inside your head.
You could be a courtroom artist for the media, though.
Yeah, you know, that feels like work. I think work is for suckers. I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, and so how long, you said this is one of your biggest pieces that you're most proud of right now.
Yeah, I just finished it like a day or two ago.
So how many hours have you put into this?
126.
126 hours. So where do you get your inspiration? What is this? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff to see in here, and there's a lot of detail, like fine lettering going on, and you said you spent a lot of your time on that. But where do you, I mean, is this a look into your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like whatever. I'm kind of a basket case, so, and I'm always like in my head, and when I take it out of my head and put it on a canvas, I can kind of make more sense of it. Like right here, like there's some crazy epiphanies I have in this. Like right here, I realized like for the first time that like I've struggled with self-loathing a lot of my life, and I had the thought like, oh wow, I don't think I do anymore. I think I actually like myself now. And then here, maybe even heavier, I realized like it took 40 years, but I think I just realized that a whole lot of my life has been destroyed by a consequence of an unconscious but genuine belief that the rules don't apply to me. And I've always said those kinds of things like in jest. I think I actually believed them, and I think that's what's gotten me into a lot of trouble.
And so also too though, if people want to know more about your stuff, you're showing me your prints over here, and one thing that is a little bit different about your prints, on the back of your prints you have descriptions, correct?
Yes, so like in addition to all the text that's in each painting, I write out the full story of each painting, because when I look at artwork, I'm like, why should I care about this? I tell people why they should care. You know, like these are deeply honest, deeply sincere, obviously very like mischievous and funny on the surface, but like I get into what's really going on, and people connect with it in a really heavy way. I've had more people than I can count looking at this, reading these things, and start crying right in front of me.
And so you found your respite, your personal respite in art.
Yeah, I mean, this is what keeps me balanced, and like I said, this is the first time in my life, and I'm old, I'm older than time. This is the first time in my life where I've really been happy, and it's because I do this.
Awesome. Well, this is really good, exciting art, Sam. I mean, I like the busyness, the bright colors. It's really cool, and I think a lot of other people will like it this weekend. And I'll tell you, I'm going to have to go so we don't run out of time, but I appreciate your time. And but people, you guys can come out here, Ariel. If you don't like the big park and the big crowds and you don't want to pay anything, come on out here to the Spring Festival on Ponce. This pathway will be lined up with over 125 vendors, artists, food, DJ. You can bring your dog, you can bring your blanket, you can bring your own cooler, and
Looks
you don't
like
have
a
to pay
good
for
time,
anything
Eli.
to get in. All you can save your money for art, and you can see some of Sam's art and post it up next to your contemporary art. It'll go just fine.
Sounds good.
And it'll look really good in my place, I think. But yeah, come on out. It's happening this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 5 tomorrow and 11 to 5 Sunday.
Eli, thanks so
Ariel,
much
take
for
it back
giving
to
us a look. We will see you again here at 3 o'clock. Let's go ahead and zoom out really quickly and bring in Tom Haynes. Tom, what are we looking at for 3 real fast?
By the way, I love a good arts festival.
Amen.
All
It's
right?
a great
It's
time.
going to be a beautiful weekend for it. Coming up here, Ariel, at the top of the 3 p.m. streaming hour, our Tara Jabor is going to be here on set with us. Speaking of close family members around those 3 students who were tragically killed down in Florida, presumably on spring break.
Yeah.
In that terrible car accident. Tara's going to join us with that and more information on the circumstances surrounding that terrible accident. Our Kevin Stewart has an inspirational story for us about a man beating cancer and going up against the odds. Just when he thought he was down, he got back up for quite a fight and beat the disease. So
Awesome.
all of that plus so much more coming up in the 3 p.m. streaming hour.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you guys so much for being here live with us. More to come at 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Tom Haynes joined by our Tara Jabor here as we kick off a brand new hour of news. A lot to get you caught up on this afternoon. Tara is here to talk about those 3 Metro Atlanta high school students killed in that fiery crash on Florida over spring break. The 3 students attending Horizon Christian Academy. Tara, you spoke to some loved ones around these students. What did they have to tell you, and what more are we learning about the circumstances surrounding this tragic accident?
Yeah, Tom, well, obviously this is such a devastating crash. It happened earlier this week in Florida. From Florida authorities, they say that these 3 kids, there was actually 4 of them in a car, and they were driving on a local highway, and their car went off the road, and they crashed into a tree, and 3 of the students died, and then 1 student was taken to the hospital. So this is such a big tragedy. They haven't revealed more about, how the car crashed into the tree, but today I spoke to the family of Charlotte Martin. You can see here on the screen here. She was a high school junior. She loved to play volleyball. That was her passion. And I spoke to their family friend, Nicole, and she told me that Charlotte really had like a zest for life and that she was kind. And if you knew Charlotte, they say, then you knew that she was a kind, sweet teenage girl. She wanted to give back to people. That was another one of her passions, and her faith was extremely important to her. So let's take a listen now to what that family friend had to say.
It was genuinely one of the most incredible teenage girls I have ever known. I mean, she had this rare combination of excellence and leadership and kindness. Everybody would describe her as one of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest girls. She was always smiling. Everything she did was with excellence, whether it was on the volleyball court or academically or serving at her church. She had an incredible faith that was just purely hers.
Oh, no, I think they did.
Now, these 3 students that unfortunately passed away, they all went to Horizon Christian Academy. Nicole told me that the community's really been wrapping around them, you know, whether that's helping with the funeral arrangements or giving food, just any kind of comfort that they can offer these families. Obviously, we can never imagine what they're going through right now, but it's just a tragic, tragic story about 3 young lives lost.
Yeah, you know, as a parent, we all go through situations where your kid has to do something like, you know, Mom, Dad, can I go on this spring break trip with my friends? And, you know, it's a decision process that they have to go through. Okay, but please be careful. And you worry about them the whole time. This is just such a devastating turn of events. And you can only imagine, Tara, how this school is going to reconcile all of this when they get back into classes on Monday, losing 3 classmates in this terrible accident.
Yeah, I really can't imagine, especially being that young as well. And, you know, it's obviously hard to process any loss, but when you're a teenager, you're in high school, you just never expect to lose people so close to you. So it really is a tragedy, and we'll definitely be thinking of all of those families and students and teachers at that school.
Yeah, our heart certainly goes out to all of those families. Real quick, you may or may not know this, but do we know any more about the condition of that 4th student that was inside the car?
We don't. The last update we got was that they were still in the hospital.
All right, Tara Jabor speaking to loved ones of the families of people involved in that accident. Tara, thanks so much. Also in the news here at 3 p.m., nearly 4 hours of a manhunt ended with a suspect in custody after a DeKalb County police officer was shot during a multi-agency operation. This unfolding in the overnight hours. Authorities capturing Thermaine McCluskey Thursday night following the shooting near Glenwood Road, where tactical teams descended on an apartment complex. We're told that investigators say McCluskey opened fire as officers were assisting DeKalb County police with an armed robbery warrant. Again, this all going down last night. Police investigators say that one of their officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries and currently is in stable condition at the hospital. McCluskey now faces charges of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer along with the original robbery warrants. So that developing here in the overnight hours. A 2-alarm fire ripped through a Riverdale apartment complex this morning, leaving dozens of people without a home. Clayton County firefighters rushed to Garden Walk Boulevard just before 8 a.m. to find heavy flames burning through the rear of that building. Crews had to shift to a defensive strategy to keep the fire from spreading to nearby units. 5 people were evacuated and treated at the scene. 1 person rushed to the hospital for treatment. Officials say 36 residents in all are now displaced. Also happening at 3 o'clock, a 3-week multi-agency crackdown in Clayton County has taken dozens of violent offenders off of the streets, we understand. The U.S. Marshal Service says that 78 people were arrested during the operation, including fugitives wanted for murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault. Officials report that the task force agents also seized 46 illegal firearms, 57 pounds of drugs, and $18,000 in cash. The operation involved federal, state, and local partners working together to remove dangerous individuals from metro Atlanta communities. Authorities say they will continue to analyze crime trends and pursue additional high-priority suspects over the next 90 days. Well, a rare form of cancer affects 10,000 men nationwide, but one local man is overcoming the odds, sharing his story. Kevin Stewart spent the morning in Noonan speaking with him about his journey to recovery. Kevin, this is really an incredible story of resilience.
Yeah, it absolutely is. 10,000 men every year get testicular cancer. It's a rare illness. And, bottom line here, this is a guy's story, a guy's health story for people who want to take care of themselves and people who want to take care of the guy in their life. Because what we're talking about here is one of the more rare cancers. Certainly, we talked to a young man who at the time was 22 years old when he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. His name is Matthew Tyler. The thing is, he started feeling a dull pain down in his groin area, and at first just didn't think anything of it. And then he started doing a physical check and saw a lump. And he went to his doctor, and his doctor said, "I'm pretty sure you have testicular cancer." They did the workup, and they found out he had stage 1 testicular cancer, which was a complete shock to him. What ended up happening was he underwent some grueling chemotherapy and had one of his testicles removed. So obviously it's a really uncomfortable thing to talk about, and that's why we're glad he was willing to share his story, particularly because this impacts largely young men. Usually we think of cancer with little children or older folks, but testicular cancer impacts largely people between the ages of 20 and 40. The average age is 33 years old. And one of the things he was concerned about after treatment was his ability to have children. But here we are, fast forward now, he has a 6-year-old.
The most common presenting symptoms of testicular cancer is an enlargement in the scrotum, and it's typically identified by the patient, and the first step is to go in, see your doctor, get a physical exam, and typically then an ultrasound. So other symptoms can be a harbinger of cancer, things like sudden weight loss, just feeling generalized malaise or fatigue, just not feeling well. Testicular cancer can also lead to lab abnormalities, so it would be important to get a full laboratory workup with a primary care doctor also if that is suspected.
Did this change your life?
Changed my life from a perspective standpoint. I feel like in a lot of our lives we go through challenging things. Everybody does at some point, and it can be big or small, however you weigh it in your personal life and your story. And for me, it changed my perspective that you can get through anything with faith, and God doesn't necessarily put us through things to hurt us or to cause harm on us, but we go through that so it strengthens up our faith and our story that we can tell and our testimony, so that at some point somebody is going to hear that same story and they can get through it. It also shows when you have children or people in your workplace or friends and family that, hey, you can get through tough stuff, and that challenging times happen to everybody. It's normal to go through that. And it also too, for me, another big thing that it changed is like the ability for you to open up and let pride aside and let people help you during that time. I've always struggled being somebody who likes to handle things themselves, and I don't want to have to burden somebody else with my problems. And so for me, I just my biggest message is that if somebody is struggling, maybe that's you right now, and you feel like I don't want anybody to help me, it is so critical that you let somebody who's willing to help, because it brings them joy.
And again, he wanted to share his story to help other folks who may be dealing with this. He is 10 years removed from his diagnosis, and as I noted earlier, he has a wife, a 6-year-old daughter, and his wife is pregnant with another child. Tom?
Well, Kevin, talk about a story of overcoming the odds. The man obviously very well spoken on not only his diagnosis and his treatment, but confronting it and being a big enough man to go in and saying, hey, something just doesn't feel right and I need help, and not being shy or insecure about reaching out for that help. It likely saved his life being so proactive about that. And it's remarkable when you hear him talk in the interview that you just conducted with him, sort of how far here a decade later he's come, both physically and through the mental part of all this challenge.
Yeah, and one of the things he talked about was having the good support. I mean, he was 22 years old at the time. He's a young kid, just got out of college, had just rented a house, and he said that one of the key people in his life is his now wife. That was his girlfriend at the time, who said, no, you need to get that checked out. And anybody who has a good other person in their life, a spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, parent, to kind of stay on you to do these sort of things. And he said, you know, it really has changed his outlook on life, because even at the time, he was working part-time at the time, and they had to take up a collection for him to pay for some of his medical bills.
You know, talk about overcoming the odds in every respect. Kevin Stewart, what a heartwarming story. We appreciate you bringing it to us this afternoon, and we wish him all the best. Kevin, thanks. Less than a week in, the U.S. ceasefire with Iran is already on thin ice as Vice President J.D. Vance heads to Pakistan. The VP is headed to high-level talks this weekend, signaling the White House is willing to negotiate if Iran acts in good faith. The meeting comes as Israel continues bombing Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. There was word of a meeting between Israel and Lebanon here in the United States over the weekend, but that bombing campaign left hundreds dead and created a major sticking point in truce efforts. At home, the month-long blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is driving up inflation, with consumer prices seeing their biggest jump in 4 years. President Trump is pushing for a permanent end to the conflict, insisting that gas prices will plunge once the war is over. We have an update today on the fragile ceasefire as we get new word from the head of Iran's National Security Committee. Ibrahim Azizi says that the vital Strait of Hormuz will not return to its pre-war control system. Instead, he suggests Iran military and security bodies will maintain control over the waterway that is critical to the world's oil supply. While a 2-week truce was announced this week, major questions remain regarding Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium and when normal shipping traffic might resume. Negotiations are set to continue Saturday in Islamabad with, as I said, Vice President J.D. Vance leading the U.S. delegation. Well, speaking of J.D. Vance, the U.S. Vice President is issuing a stern warning to Tehran as those negotiations begin. Vance spoke before boarding Air Force Two this morning about the status of talks following this shaky truce between the two countries and between the United States, Israel, and Iran, Lebanon, etc. Here's what the Vice President had to say about the upcoming negotiations.
Hey guys, good morning. Thanks for coming. Look, we're looking forward to the negotiation. I think it's going to be positive. We'll, of course, see. As the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive. So we're going to try to have a positive negotiation. The President has gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see. So I hope you guys have a safe flight. We'll certainly take some questions later on, but for now, let's get on the plane and hit the road. Thank you all.
All right, that Vice President J.D. Vance before boarding the plane to go to Pakistan to engage in these high-level negotiations about our way out of Iran and if this fragile ceasefire between our country, theirs, Israel, and Lebanon, if that can all come together. Later this year, the U.S. military is going to begin automatically registering eligible men for the Selective Service Draft System. Under a new rule passed by Congress, the responsibility for registration will shift from the individual to the government through an integration of federal data. For decades, most men age 18 to 25 have been required by law to self-register within 30 days of their 18th birthday. While the U.S. has not had a military draft since the Vietnam War, failure to register can still lead to criminal charges or the loss of federal benefits. Officials say the system will be fully automated by December, though women remain exempt from that requirement. There's a new inflation data report out today, which has sent the markets down. A new economic report shows everyday costs were already climbing well before the war in Iran sent gas prices soaring. The Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge rose nearly 3% in February, matching the pace set at the start of the year. All eyes are now on the March Consumer Price Index report released today, which will be the first to reflect the war's full impact on the American wallet. While some Fed officials have considered raising interest rates to curb the surge, others hope that this week's ceasefire will provide enough relief to stabilize the economy. And on news of the inflation, the Dow Jones Industrial is giving back about 250 points today after surging over the past couple of days on hopes of a ceasefire in Iran and a reduction in the price per barrel of oil. The Dow gaining somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,500 points collectively on Wednesday and Thursday, but giving back a little bit of those gains on this inflation news. As we head to break, I want to show you some live pictures of Artemis 2 inside the cockpit of the capsule as those astronauts make their way home in just about 5 hours for splashdown off the coast of California/Mexico in the area of San Diego, Tijuana. We're going to have special coverage right here on Fox Local. Make sure you're streaming with us tonight, starting at 7:30 of that splashdown. We're going to be narrating the spacecraft as it comes down, and we'll have a couple of special guests joining us here for our live coverage. As we continue, we have made it to Friday. We're going to get a check of our weekend forecast when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, live inside the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, bringing you up to date on all the stories making headlines on this Friday, and there are a lot of them. Watching Artemis as it makes its way back to Earth, cruising through space right now, about to splash down in about 5 or so hours. Take a look at this. They're providing live pictures from inside the space capsule as these astronauts get to set to endure temperatures, we understand, of over 3,000 degrees on the outside of this capsule. It's literally going to burn up as it makes its way through the Earth's atmosphere. Of course, everybody inside will be perfectly safe. as they make their way down into the Pacific Ocean. Don't forget to stream with us live tonight at 7:30. We're going to be narrating this entire thing, speaking to some really, really cool experts tonight on exactly what these astronauts are going through. Well, as we knock on the door of the weekend, we are looking forward to some beautiful temperatures. Yes, we need rain. All right, we're in kind of a serious situation as it relates to a drought out there, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any anytime soon. Here's meteorologist Jonathan Stacy.
Well, we're about to turn abnormally warm for the month of April. The first 4 days of the month featured heat in the 80-plus degree category. April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, and April 4th. Temperatures all above 80 degrees. However, we started out this week with temperatures that were right on the money for this time of the year. The average high temperature for Easter Sunday, 71. The average high continues to rise. Now we're in the 72 to 73 degree range. And look at this. We've been kind of playing with the average number. Below average on Monday, and then above average for Tuesday, and then below average for Wednesday, right on the money for Thursday. But let's bring out the red paint here, because we're about to fill these boxes up here as the temperatures are about to go on a prolonged heat streak, and it begins today. Above average, 79 degrees here in Atlanta. The average high for this time of the year, the 10th day or the 100th day of the year, that is 73 degrees. 73 is going to be a pass-by temperature. In fact, all communities, even into the mountains, will roll past the low 70s into the mid-70s. 76 degrees there in Blairsville. Come down south and you're going to find temperatures getting really close to the 80-degree mark. If you don't hit it today, you have another really good opportunity tomorrow, and that opportunity continues into the week to come. Well, it'll be kind of crisp tomorrow morning when you wake up, but a really nice start to the weekend. Temperatures on either side of 50 degrees when you kick off your weekend morning. Saturday specifically, 53 here in Atlanta, 47 Cartersville, 47 Dalton, 48 over there in Tallapoosa. Go out east to the lakes, you'll find temperatures in the high 40s as well. Not a bad start to the weekend at all. And there's not a bad middle, and there's not a bad end. In fact, sunshine is going to be our friend. An area of high pressure will rest smack dab over the southeastern United States, and it's going to cancel a cloud cover, and it most definitely will keep out any wet weather. Look at all the wet weather. It's out west. It's up to the north. It cannot break entry as long as high pressure abides over our area. That's the story tomorrow. Let's fast forward the clock into Sunday, and that's the same story on Sunday. By Monday, this shield of clouds is going to try to advance to the east, but it doesn't bring us anything. We're going to keep the rain-free streak going. You can see those clouds rolling in as you head back to work and school on Monday. Let's not talk about that, but at least you'll be going back with dry conditions, and we'll call it maybe partly cloudy. For the weekend, especially tomorrow, sunshine is all yours. Starting out in the 50s, those highs boosting to the 80s, 86 degrees for Saturday. We may knock off a degree for Sunday, but it's tomato. Who cares? This is very summer-like. It's like late May going into early June when we find temperatures this warm. However, this is the way we're going to go through the second full weekend of April. In terms of the week to come, this is what you have. Not a good opportunity for rain at any point in time. Maybe we'll sneak in an isolated shower or two as we get into next week, the latter part of the week, specifically looking at Friday, as basically you have so much warmth along with a little bit of humidity eking in. Maybe we could get an isolated thunder shower, but you can see here I'm really trying to thread the needle. There's not a good opportunity for rain in the near future. You can see it here. There's plenty of sunshine though, and there is an abundance of warmth. These temperatures are off the chain. Look at these near 90-degree temperatures. The heat will be building next week. However, the humidity is likely going to stay in the pocket. We're going to keep it comfortable, but we're going to bring out the sun, and the sun is going to do its job.
Wow. All right. Jonathan, thanks. Looking forward to a nice weekend out there. Let's talk about the Atlantic hurricane season, because you know that gets stirred up as we make our way into summer. And the 2026 hurricane forecast is out. And while experts are predicting a lower than average season, they warn it only takes one storm to change everything. Colorado State University is projecting 6 hurricanes this year, including 2 that could become major Category 3 or higher systems. You know, something that our meteorologists often talk about here is in the situation of a drought, how great it would be if it's sort of a mild one and doesn't cause too much damage, other than the furniture in your backyard blowing around, is for a tropical storm to park itself over the southeast. That would give us tons of rain and sort of recover from our drought type situation. We'll see if that happens this summer, again, hopefully without any serious damage, but tropical storms are a good thing when it comes to droughts here. The new outlook comes after devastating hits from Hurricane Helene in 2024, Hurricane Aaron last year, with left parts of the southeast reeling from flooding and landslides. Scientists say Florida remains at the highest risk for a landfall this year, but they caution there is still a high level of uncertainty in the forecast. We'll continue to watch how the hurricane season unfolds as we enter summer. The U.S. Postal Service looking to hike the price of stamps as the agency navigates what it calls a severe financial crisis. You know, add the cost of logistics, and what I mean by that is the cost of fuel and manpower and all of the above, and it's going to really start to cripple the U.S. Postal Service. The USPS filed a notice Thursday to increase mailing rates by nearly 5% starting July the 12th. Now, if approved, the price of a first-class stamp would jump from 78 to 82 cents. Postal officials say that the adjustments are necessary to remain financially viable, though they maintain that American mailing costs remain among the most affordable in the world. A blanket ban on social media for kids and teens is gaining momentum globally as countries push to protect younger users from online risks. Australia and Greece already leading the charge with strict age limits, while several European nations are drafting similar proposals. Critics argue these bans are a flimsy fix, though, noting that teens are already using VPNs to bypass restrictions, and the U.S. Congress is debating new privacy protections that would limit data-driven advertising targets at teens. It's a situation where it's going to be a reconciliation between what the government is able to do and what parents are able to do to regulate the amount of social media their teenagers consume. Well, we talked about the beautiful weather this weekend, and we're going to enjoy it, many of you will, at the Dogwood Festival in Piedmont Park. We're going to talk about that as we continue, and we're continuing to keep our eyes on Artemis. This is a real treat, something that really doesn't happen very often. These are the astronauts doing some housekeeping in the space capsule as they hurl toward Earth and will literally explode through our atmosphere on their way to splashing down in the Pacific Ocean. Our coverage of Artemis's return continues right after this. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, bringing you up to date on all the stories making news on this Friday. So glad you're with us. If you're watching on our streaming app on your mobile device, or if you're at home watching through one of our live channels, appreciate you being here as well, or on one of our social media sites at Fox 5 Atlanta, appreciate you streaming with us, adding your comments on places like TikTok and YouTube about what you think of the stories making news today. Or if you're with us on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM, we are glad you are with us today. Well, the First Lady came out in dramatic fashion yesterday before the cameras to deny any connection or association with Jeffrey Epstein, calling recent accusations against her completely false. Speaking at the White House, the First Lady characterized online claims linking her to Epstein's crimes as an attempt to smear her reputation. She stated that she was never friends with Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, noting that while they shared the same social circles in New York and Florida, any contact was merely incidental. Here's more of what she had to say.
Good afternoon. The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents.
Are we hearing from all the astronauts? That was Melania Trump speaking before the cameras yesterday. The First Lady also calling on Congress to allow the Epstein survivors to speak during a public hearing and allow their stories to be entered into the congressional record. On a lighter note, let's get back to Artemis 2. This is a story that we're going to be keeping our eye on all day long here as the astronauts make their way back to Earth. This is a live picture of mission control as these technicians, scientists, engineers all monitor Artemis 2's progress, literally monitoring every inch of this journey back. This has been characterized as one of the most dangerous parts of the journey, all right? So we got off the ground okay, we blasted off, we got into space, we went around the moon, but it's basically a controlled explosion on your way back through the atmosphere. burning at 3,000 rather degrees. Of course, they're in a very super protective capsule on their way back when they splash down. And then there's several vessels out there in the ocean waiting for them to bring them back onto land. But let's listen to some of what the astronauts had to say as they prepared for re-entry.
You know, our purpose on the planet as humans is to find joy, to find the joy in lifting each other up by creating solutions together instead of destroying. And when you see it from out here, it doesn't change it. It just absolutely reaffirms that. It's almost like seeing living proof of it.
We have to get back. There's so much data that you've seen already, but all the good stuff is coming back with us. There's so many more pictures, so many more stories. And gosh, I haven't even begun to process what we've been through.
We really are here to serve NASA, to serve our two nations, Canadian Space Agency, NASA, and the international community. And we're here to serve for Artemis 3. But what we really hoped in our soul is that we could, for just a moment, have the world pause and remember that this is a beautiful planet in a very special place in our universe, and we should all cherish what we have been gifted.
This whole thing is a package. We can't explore deeper unless we are doing a few things that are inconvenient, unless we're making a few sacrifices, unless we're taking a few risks, and those things are all worth it.
Imagine the tight quarters these four are in that capsule together. Not very big, okay? It's not like the space shuttle where they can kind of float around and have their own private spaces. This is a space capsule where they're all kind of on top of each other. So these four are getting along very, very well. We're going to have live coverage right here on Fox Local, our streaming platform, of the re-entry tonight beginning at 7:30. And we're not only going to be watching this thing as it enters the Earth's atmosphere and splashes down, but we're going to have experts guiding you through every bit of this process. So make sure to join us here tonight at 7:30 for our live coverage on Fox Local. Well, a lot of good things happening. Not only the splashdown of Artemis tonight, but the Dogwood Festival is happening today, or I should say this weekend. The 90th annual Dogwood Festival kicking off, well, at noon today, right? Let's get out to Chris Rosenthal. He's out there live. Visitors are going to notice enhanced security, Chris. A little bit of a charge to get into Piedmont Park grounds to, you know, make this thing work, make it viable, get all the vendors out there, and make it a good time for everybody attending.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, this is the 90th Dogwood Festival here. I mean, going back to 1936. That's a long time. And yeah, started at noon today, kicked off at noon, and it is already crowded here. Gosh, I mean, got all the art vendors. I mean, this is just a very small part of it. There's about 260 vendors here today. Like you said, there is a charge this year, $5 for adults today, and then $10 for adults on Saturday and Sunday, and yeah, increased security in light of shootings that have happened here. We have seen the officers out here today, so pretty safe feeling event. But let's go through the event here, and I've got Eric Kaplan here. He is with the Dogwood Festival. You know, it's been around 90 years. You've been here for 23 of them.
23 of them. That's right.
Wow, so quite a history here. I mean, walk me through what people can expect when they come here.
It sounds cliche, but something for everyone. You know, that just really, with 260 artist booths, you're going to see jewelry, you're going to see woodworking, you're going to see acrylic, metal sculpture. Again, a little bit of everything, all types of genres, subject matter. So there really is, and you know, if you've got bringing your kids out with you, there's the Kids Village, all kinds of activities, bounce houses and slides and games, face painting. Of course, we have our just absolutely amazing high school art exhibit. So if you've got teenagers or aspiring artists in the family, come out and just showcase that talent. Just really, and then of course music. And our music lineup during the day features our international groups. So you've got salsa and Irish dance, Caribbean drums, a little bit more traditional event music in the evenings. So again, then food, of course, funnel cakes and corn dogs and stir fry, and again, something for everyone.
Yeah, you can come out here, you can spend the whole day, you got food, you got everything you need, you got bathrooms, and then have a picnic, and you can come check out all the art. This goes until 9 o'clock, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the artist market till 7, the event till 9.
Gotcha. So if you want to come get some art, you still got some time. You and I were talking a little bit earlier just about sort of the ebb and flow. Friday's a day when people really come for the art. Huh?
Yeah, and it's a little bit less crowded. The artists have all put out their finest pieces they've been working on all winter. This is kind of the kickoff of the season, and Friday's the day to have your pick of what you want. See things. We always sort of kid around. If you don't buy it on Friday, you might not see it again. But yeah, so Friday's really about folks who are really focused in on buying art, seeing the variety, and then throughout the weekend, it's people who are looking for an entire experience throughout the day.
Absolutely. Like you have the music. You have I think I saw improv comedy.
We do.
Tonight.
That improv is tonight. Whole World Theater. Just a lot of fun. Tends to be very interactive with the crowd, and really, again, a lot of fun evening.
And the artists here, I mean, they're from all over, huh?
They are. So typically more aiming on the southeast U.S., but as you walk around, you will see, Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, but you'll see Ohio. You'll see artists from all over the country.
And coming out this year there's been a fee. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So it's no secret that expenses are going up. Everything we're buying out of our own pockets is going up, and that it's extending to the production costs that we have, our security costs, our electric rent, generator rental, our tent rental. Everything is going up, and we just have to go with that, be consistent with what other major events around the country are doing. And so we're starting off, it's a nominal fee. It's $5 for today, Friday, $10 for either Saturday or Sunday, or $15 for the whole weekend. And that's just to help offset those rising production costs. We are a nonprofit organization. We do not receive any kind of funding or municipal support. We don't receive any taxpayer dollars. This is all grassroots, raised by the organization to cover the event. We're just trying to keep things relevant for the next 90 years.
Yeah, and people, they can buy tickets online or
they
get
sure
them at
can.
the door? Or how does it work?
Dogwood.org. If you go there, you can buy your tickets. That lets you go through what we call the express lane. You'll see it when you walk up to the gate. The express lane arrow to the left, show your QR code as your proof of payment, and walk right in.
Gotcha. And if you don't get to do that, you can still come up.
You sure can. Yeah, we take all forms of payment, good old-fashioned cash, all the way to Venmo and digital payments. But yeah, and then you certainly can buy at the gate.
We're walking around here. We're able to kind of walk through this. Expect it to get a little more crowded over the weekend?
I think so, in a good way. It's it's a crowd of families and people who are coming out to enjoy beautiful Piedmont Park. Absolutely amazing weather and absolutely amazing art to go with it.
I know it's hard to pick, but anything stand out to you about this event?
I think it's just the history and the tradition. It's just 90 years. There's not too many festivals in this nation that reach that point. There's certainly none in the South, none in Georgia that have been around as long as we have. And I think it's just that standard. It's the kickoff to spring, it's the talent, it's the skill, and it's the environment that we're in.
Yeah, and we are super lucky to have great weather today and all weekend.
Absolutely. We're excited about that.
Absolutely, and of course, security. It'll all be good shape.
It is. We always have excellent security program for our festival. When I started 23 years ago, I started working with the security team, and I saw it behind the scenes, and it's always been above and beyond. This year, the police chief has assured us that this is going to be a safe environment. We've got additional officers that are providing security, just keeping everything safe. And we have private security that is going throughout the park, and we have a trained staff that just knows if something's not quite right. See something, say something, and we take care of it.
There you go. I'll tell you, it's starting to smell good now. We're going to get into the food court section over here. So, yeah, lots of great art. Again, this is open today until 9, artists until 7.
Yep. And then 10 a.m. Open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow. Artist market will be till 7 tomorrow. And then Sunday, 10 to 6 for everything.
There you go. So, beautiful weekend weather. If you want to get outside, you know, come be part of that. Come be part of that 90-year tradition here at the Dogwood Festival.
Looks really very, very cool out there. You guys are getting kind of a layup with the weather. I mean, it's just spectacular. Are there, Chris, checkpoints where you have to enter, you know, pay the $5 fee to get in? In other words, they're on, I believe is it 17th Street, that kind of 10th Street rather, that goes around the perimeter of the park, 10th, Monroe, Piedmont. Where do you enter?
Yeah, 12th Street, 14th Street. We're talking about the entrances there.
Yeah, our primary entrance is 12th Street at Piedmont, 14th at Piedmont, Charles Allen on 10th Street, and then through the neighborhood on Park Drive in the northeast corner.
And parking recommendations?
You can park in the Piedmont parking deck. We recommend you take MARTA. You take MARTA to the Art Station or Midtown Station. It's a couple of blocks walk. Then you're not worried about fighting for parking. But there are a few pay lots around town as well. We do ask you, be respectful of the neighborhood and realize that residents, they have their permits, they have their parking spaces. We want to be respectful of that, but plenty of options for getting here.
Yeah, ride share as well. So
yes,
yeah. So lots of ways to get here and enjoy the festivities.
All right, Chris Rosenthal and Eric Kaplan, guys, thanks so much. A great place to be this weekend if you want to get out and about and enjoy the Dogwoods out in Piedmont Park. Beautiful weekend to do it. Thanks. Well, from Piedmont Park to, Ponce de Leon Avenue, okay? There's a lot of places to go this weekend, and we're going to check in with Eli Jordan on an event going on in those neighborhoods when we come back. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. So happy you're with us on this beautiful Friday afternoon in Georgia. If that's where you are, you know it's awesome outside. And one place to be is on Ponce de Leon Avenue, or some of the outlying neighborhoods there this weekend. The Dogwood Festival, we just heard about that. Several neighborhood events are also kicking off, many of which are free and dog friendly. So let's get out to Eli Jordan at one of them. Eli, what are we talking about here?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, I'm out here at the Spring Ponce Festival. It's this weekend, tomorrow, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's free. You can bring your dog, you can bring a blanket, you can bring a cooler, and you can bring a good attitude and good vibes and all that good stuff, because it's going to be cool out here. This is one of the smaller parks. If you're ever going down Ponce, heading towards Decatur from Atlanta, you look to your right next to the Paideia School, just a little string of parks there. Well, that's where I am. And they're having a festival here. There's going to be 125 vendors, and they got some really cool artists here. I want you to check this out, Tom. I'm here. This is Garrett's stuff. This is CW handmade art. This is really nice. He's got chopping blocks. He's got little stash trays. He's got coasters, and he's got dinosaur stash trays too, which are cool. But also, I was talking last hit with a punk artist, and now here we are with some heavy metal art, some yard art, and William Colbert. Hey, William, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right. So you got these yard monsters, is what I'll call them, and you make these. You weld, you cut, you use a plasma gun or whatever.
Yep, plasma torch, and then heat and hydraulics to shape them.
So tell me, what inspires you to make such cool giant tulips and scary yard monsters?
Just nature, I guess. I like natural forms, and then I just create them in gigantic shapes.
And so you've done a couple of festivals here in Atlanta, but you're from Birmingham.
Yes, yes.
And so, but what do you like about this festival in particular?
It's just a great little park here, great neighborhood, so we always get great attendance. It's always just real beautiful. So it's a great place to be for the weekend.
What would be your hottest item, would you say?
Probably the Little Venus fly traps do really well. The dog with the double barrel shotgun does really well. But flowers do really well.
And what's the other one?
The flowers, just the daffodils. I have them in singles and doubles and triples. And
the daffodils are always coming in early this year. And yeah, these are nice daffodils. So tell me, how long does it take to make, let's say, you know, these small monsters here, or these medium-sized monsters?
Yeah, I can make them in about maybe a couple hours, so they go pretty quick.
And so, you say they're the most popular?
Oh yeah.
I like this big one over here because, you know, I think it would be really cool in my front yard and put some bird seed up in here, and birds can fly in there.
Oh yeah.
And eat out of the monster's mouth, which would be really cool.
I get a lot of people send me pictures of it with a mockingbird or something sitting on the tongue.
Awesome, awesome. So, what do you look forward to most during these festivals? I know you look forward to selling a lot of items and having to make some more to restock, but you know, the peripheral. What do you enjoy about the festivals?
I really enjoyed meeting a lot of people. I usually meet probably a couple thousand people every weekend, so it's pretty good. It's always enjoyable.
And how would you compare this to, you know, you're kind of festival-wise, I guess. How would you compare this to the other festivals around town?
It's really good. I do this one every year. I do Chastain Park, which is a really great show, and I did Sandy Springs last weekend, and that was always a great show.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I saw you out there at Sandy Springs, and but yeah, these are really, really nice. Tom, I think you need one of these in your yard. I think you should come out here this weekend. If you don't want hang out at the big park, you can come out here. It's free. If you dog, you can bring a doggy out here, you can bring a blanket, you can bring a cooler, and they got security out here as well. And it's a little bit smaller scene, but they got plenty of vendors out here. They're gonna have a DJ with 80s and 90s music, and they're just gonna have a really good time out here on the grass, stretching across a few of these plots out here at Olmsted Linear Park, just off of Ponce by the Paideia School. This will be lined with white tents, artists, vendors selling their stuff. Come on out. It's going to be a beautiful day, family friendly. You can come on out here with your stroller, all that good stuff, and for free, and it's not a big deal. And hang out and buy you some yard art. Walk up here. Have to carry this thing home. I think, you know, it'd be tough to carry this home, but I think we can do it. And you know, only live a few blocks away. Why not? But yeah, the Spring Festival on Ponce tomorrow and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., 11 to 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Actually, I like some of those for the yard. They're kind of eclectic, and it would be very cool, be conversation piece to have out there. Eli, very cool stuff.
Conversation pieces.
Definitely. The place to be this weekend. Eli, thanks. And thank you for joining us today, I should say, for the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We'll see you tonight at 7:30 for the big Artemis splashdown. I'll see you then.